Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine on it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time. Another week of N4G Radio. This is episode 624 for November 2nd, 2020. And depending on how this week goes, we may be a lot more cheery or a lot more depressed on episode 626.
It's a very consequential week.
It is, which don't normally do it, but if you listen to this on Monday, go fucking vote. If you live in the U.S., obviously. If you live in another country, I don't know when your elections are. I don't live there.
You should still vote, but
Absolutely.
It may not be tomorrow.
Yes.
Vote at the appropriate time.
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
vote
But
when is appropriate for you.
if you're listening to this on Monday, November 2nd, and you live in the United States, oh, America, go the fuck vote.
Democracy is founded on one simple rule. Get out there and vote or I will motherfucking kill you.
Vote or die, motherfucker. Also, we are 1 week away from new consoles.
If we make it that far.
If we make it that far.
I mean,
We are ish 1 week away. We're not quite 1 week away.
when this airs, we'll be 8 days away.
Yeah, so that's not a week.
It's close enough to a week for you to shut the fuck up.
To be fair, anything is close enough to a week for me to shut the fuck up.
It's true. This is true. Oh, what a couple of weeks this will be. I mean, you want to go broad ends of the spectrum, we could definitely hit those. That's for sure. But anyway, this is a podcast about video games. So we're going to talk about...
Really, it's a podcast about fast food. We just
It's true.
happen to talk about video games every now and then.
I mean, that's the case when I put out a call for the tweets, and one of the first tweets is mentioning Taco Bell and KFC. I mean,
Of course.
we know our audience.
Yeah, that's absolutely in our canon.
Yeah. But we'll talk about video games first. Drew.
Sure.
We didn't even do an introduction. We're just like,
Sorry.
fuck it, you know the people. No, I don't give a shit.
It's the same for
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
it's Albie's here.
Drew,
Yeah.
Anthony, Ryan, and me. Because fuck.
I was going to
Sure.
make a joke about the stupid hologram of Robert Kardashian, but it just freaked me the fuck out, I'll be honest.
Wait,
just
what are
love
we
that-
talking about?
I saw that floating around Twitter, and I was like, what the fuck?
It's-
I'm just going to move on.
Early 2000s PC ass.
CGI.
CGI.
What was creepy about it was like clearly it was a filmed person, and then they like stitched Robert Kardashian's face to the model, and it was like I can see the seams. I can. It's creepy. It's Tron
what rich
Legacy.
motherfuckers do.
It's Tron Legacy. You know what rich motherfuckers do is have this guy pretend to be the ghost, I guess, I don't know what the fuck of Robert Kardashian, and have him say that you married the most genius man in the world.
Drew's still over there like, what the fuck is happening?
I have no
What the
idea
fuck
what
is
anybody is even talking about here.
It's the apocalypse, that's all.
Yeah, Kanye West bought for his wife, Kim Kardashian, a hologram of her dead father for her birthday. And I wish any of those words were not true,
It's 2020, though, y'all.
but they are 100% all true.
Okay.
Yeah, right? How you living?
Robert Kardashian comes back from the dead and doesn't even mention the OJ thing. Bullshit.
Motherfucker was playing a game of Time Warp.
Man, I can make some jokes and it's bad.
I mean, it's 2020. Just let it fly.
The Broncos back, boy. We can...
Well, why did he not say, hey, I talked to Nicole. I know who did it. It was OJ.
Who did that shit?
I did not know that. I did see the whole Kim Kardashian tweet of her renting off a private island and then just so everybody could be normal for a change. Yeah, normal people don't go to private islands.
What are you talking about? I do that on a weekly basis.
Well, I sure don't.
This tops that. And it'll wrap back into what I have to talk about today anyway. So, video game wise.
Okay.
Video games. What you got?
Well, I am reviewing a game called Remothered Broken Porcelain. Nobody told me that this was a direct sequel to another Remothered game.
Honestly, I think they did a director's cut of the first game, or it got a subtitle when it went to consoles or something. So I've been unable to follow what that series is.
Well, I've put 2 hours into that game, and I can't follow what that series is.
That's a good sign.
Yes, it's
So is it like Silent Hill or Amnesia, Resident Evil? Which one? Like
I would say Amnesia, but you can. You know what it feels like? It's not the style of game, but the way it works. Friday the 13th, the game.
Oh, the asymmetrical multiplier?
Yeah, but it's not that. It is a story-driven single-player game, but you can fight back. It is most certainly a stealth game where you try to stay away from people, but if you do get attacked, you can avoid attacks relatively easy, and you can also fight back. So if you get hit a few times, they then go into an animation trying to grab you, and as long as you have a melee weapon with you, like a knife or a shovel or something like that, you can stab them with it, and it damages them and also stuns them for a few seconds. Kind of like how when Jason grabs you, you could hit him, you know. I don't know if I like it. I don't like it. I don't.
Okay. Well, there you go.
I don't want to be that way.
You went from I don't know if I like it to I don't like it.
No,
who am I kidding is what I said. Who am I kidding? I don't like this game.
I don't like it.
It's hard to follow because I didn't play the first game. They did a recap at the beginning, saying previously on, Remothered. And I was like, what happened? What? Apparently there was a guy who was actually a woman at birth, and she, through hypnotherapy as well as this drug, believes that she's actually a grandfather, and that's who was chasing the person. And now I'm playing as a girl in the 70s, and this hotel, which they're using as a boarding school for girls. I don't know.
I want every previously on going forward to start with, once there was this guy who...
I don't know what you're referencing there.
Crash Test Out? You don't remember?
Finally came back.
The what was the urban legend that his voice was so deep because he had 3 testicles? Wasn't that the urban legend?
I don't think I ever heard that one, but that's
I
awesome.
remember hearing that when I was in high school. I was like, for real?
Hilarious. I never heard that story, but it's awesome.
Oh, shit. A good day. Remothered. Did Drew die?
No, I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, Remothered. It's a stealth horror game that's not scary. And the first the first chapter has somebody chasing after this girl that you're playing as, and the issue is you have to defeat this person. So, all right. You can't defeat anybody in this game. You can't kill anybody. The only thing you can do is stun them. What you want to do is attack them enough to where they get stunned or they drop a key, and then you escape. Well, the only way to attack somebody is by hitting them from behind. I can't walk fast enough silently to catch up to this person. If I run, they hear me and turn around. And if they see you, they chase you forever, it seems like. So the way I got around that was I let them attack me. And every time they grab me, I stab them with a defensive weapon and then run away. The problem is you have to go and find more defensive weapons. And what should have been a 10 to 15 minute encounter turned out to be a 45-minute encounter. And it was tedious and annoying.
Because I wanted to know how wrong you had the story, I tried reading the plot synopsis, and I think my brain fried. I don't know what the fuck I just read.
There is some kind of chemical medication that makes people forget trauma.
Uh-huh.
That is a big thing of this game. On top of that, there is this missing girl, Celeste, I believe is her name. That was the first game. The first game you were playing as like a social worker, I think, who was trying to find this girl. She believes this girl was in this mansion that was owned by this old man. So she sneaks in the middle of the night to try and find this girl. She thinks she's being held captive. And then gets chased by this old man who turns out to be a woman who was taking this medication, who forgot who she was because of like the horrible therapy to her. I don't know what's happening in this game. It's now in the past.
Here's the statement that doesn't make any sense to me. All right, so you're playing as Jennifer, and the guy in the inn tells, this is the exact, I'm just going to say S reveals that Jennifer wasn't adopted by R, but is in fact R's biological daughter, with S himself being Jennifer's father. But except that R is a male name. So I don't... what? What did I just read?
Every cutscene in this game is like, I'm lost.
Alright, well, apparently I can't even fix that by reading out something someone had to sit down and write about it. So, alright, sounds great. I'll make sure not to play this.
In retrospect, I remember seeing Justin Solani play the first game. He's put like pictures and I think a few videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if he liked it or not. I haven't talked to him about it. But the second game is rough. To the point where I played 2 hours of it and then went on YouTube to see if somebody else was having the same issues I was. I saw somebody hardcore rage on a stream at this game. And I was like, I didn't get that mad, but I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Because it feels like, so they give you objectives to do, like go here or try to find a key for this room. And I'm like, okay, and I'm getting chased. I had to hide. And then I'm like, all right, what the hell was I doing? And I can't for the life of me find that objective again. Like I paused the game. It doesn't pop up. I'm like, I'm missing something somewhere. I don't.
Sounds like a game I will not purchase.
I don't think you would like it, Ken. I am sure that there is an audience out there for this game.
Well, I'm not big on the amnesia stuff, but at least I recognize when there's a good, like Soma is a good video game.
Soma, Amnesia, not much of Machine for Pigs. I didn't like that game that much. There are games in this style that are good. Remothered.
Anna, right, Drew? Anna.
No.
Man, I remember that game. Oh my god!
It's one of my favorite Phoenix Down episodes.
First off, Anna is not a get chased by stuff game. Anna is a walking simulator where you have to guess what to combine with other things.
Sounds
I
fun.
know, but it just loved it.
Oh god. That was our first Halloween episode too.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
Let's see here. So, after hearing Anthony talk about it last week, I have quickly became addicted to Among Us.
Right?
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a lot of dumbasses.
I
got a
don't play
lot of-
randoms. That's
I
one
do.
thing.
I do. That's the
Who
only
else,
people I have.
who else is he going to play with?
I have nobody else to play with.
Should
So I go into
hit me up
randoms.
and I'll figure out something. Good lord.
Yeah, and it's but I've had some pretty good games. My first time as the imposter, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but somehow I won.
You're the winner.
And it was me just talking the whole time. I think I killed maybe 2 people the entire game out of 10
Oh, did you
And-
talk other people into
into killing other people.
Ah!
Yeah. And I used their terms. Like, that red sus, I saw him event, and they were like, red, and they all voted him out. And I'm like, okay, that worked. All right, well, let's just try it again. I was looking at the cameras, I saw yellow, he's sus. Yellow's gone.
I can't live with these monosyllabic terms the kids use today. I can't do it.
The only reason why
Well,
they
the
say sus
reason-
is because they can't type out suspect.
I was gonna say it's also quicker to type out suspect. It's sus instead of suspect. So
I'm just old, okay?
well, that was never in question.
I don't use the word fam. I don't use the word sus.
Listen, Bay.
Yeah, I don't use that either.
I had a game where somebody joined into a game, and his name was TikTok, and somebody immediately hit the button and called an emergency meeting and voted him off, even though he wasn't the imposter.
We did that to a guy last night because we just wanted him to stop talking.
Oh, that's happened plenty of times.
And so we're in Discord, right? So we actually hear you talk during it, and we were just like, all right, goodbye. And what I like is that depending on the map you're playing, it's a different eject animation. So in the space one, you just shoot them out into space, but in the one that you're like on the planet surface, you just dump them into lava.
Lava, yeah. I've only played those 2 maps. I haven't played them.
Apparently, the third one is harder for new players, and you don't want to have you need a full game to play it. So, but
Gotcha.
I played a little bit last night. Like, I have been up since 9:30 p.m. yesterday, and I played some for 2 hours, 3 hours last night. 3 hours last night.
Yeah, it's great because it has kind of like that Overwatch syndrome of the games are just long enough to be fun, but also let's go into another one. Let's do another one.
Yeah. Oh, that one was quick. All right, one more.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing is, like, if the imposter gets found out and only one person knows it, but they say, hey, I know this person is the imposter, everybody's already voted except the imposter, and they will sit there for 60 seconds waiting for the voting. And I'm like, this dude is stalling. Obviously, he's the imposter.
I kept getting like, I'd be an imposter and it'd be the same guy who was being an imposter with me. And like the first round, it was terrible, but the other 2, we did so well.
I've only done one game with 2 imposters. I was the imposter with the other person. The dude killed somebody and immediately said, it's him, it's me. And I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then they
That's the reason
ejected
why I
me.
don't want to play with randoms, because I feel like just some people will throw.
There's a few games that I got into where, like, you could tell, like, at least 2 or 3 of them were like together and they wanted to play properly. And I was like, okay, and I stayed with them the entire time.
We had a new player last night. It was her second time playing. It was my second time playing too, but like I played 4 or 5 hours the first time I played. So she wasn't sure what to do, and there was 4 of us left. And I just said, before, I'm like, well, we can win by just doing the rest of our tasks, and we'll just move as a group. And she at one point, she's like, yeah, I have a task. She walked over to the computer, turned around, realized she's not going to be able to go anywhere until she's done. So she just killed someone and threw the game because she's like, I can't win.
Yeah,
She's like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, once you have 3 people, and one of them is the imposter, the imposter cannot win.
No, incorrect.
How though? That's the thing. Is
The
like because
imposter just has to kill one person.
but the thing is that like no, excuse me, 4 people left because everybody will stick together.
You want to know how? Stupidity.
Well, that's the only way.
Oh well, I watched someone do it with 3 people. The imposter convinced the other person to vote out one of the crewmates. So anything is possible.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was able to talk most people into screwing each other over, but like especially if you got a smart person, somebody who's completed their task just stays on the cameras the entire time.
So
yeah, you're screwed then.
So there was a match where the term town is thrown around a lot because of werewolf, right? And so one of the guys is like, I can vouch for this other guy and Anthony. They're definitely town. Both of us were imposters. And it was just like, anytime you'd say something in future matches, like, yeah, remember that time you were really sure?
That's my thing is I always do that if I'm an imposter. I just be like, I know White's safe because I was with him the whole time. He's been doing tasks. And then everybody just votes for... I watched them fight amongst themselves, and then I kill White because I was with him the whole time.
Are you playing on phone or?
I'm playing on phone exclusively.
It works. Like
it definitely works. It's a little clunky, and you can always tell who's playing on phone.
It's a little clunky. It's a little clunky on PC. Don't kid yourself. That game is not.
Can you use controller?
No,
PC?
You can use keyboard and mouse or just mouse.
Okay, so like Diablo style, click here kind of thing.
Well, yeah. So like you have to like hold the mouse cursor down. Like
Gotcha.
or you have to like you hold the button down and move the cursor to run.
Right.
But it's easier if you're playing mouse and keyboard because you can just have your cursor over your buttons at the bottom all the time.
You know, we should probably do this. We should probably do like a game of this with just like the N4G crew. I think we would have fun.
Yeah. I'm down.
And if need be, we could jump on the Discord and get some of the listeners to join in if they wanted to. That'd be
It's all
fun.
possible.
Doesn't
I ain't
sound
playing
like
shit with y'all.
Yeah, I just want
Doesn't
to
sound
note
like
that.
Ken Ryan's into
Yeah,
this
I was
at
gonna
all.
say, Ken, this is what it sounds like every time you and Drew go off on Overwatch. Welcome.
Yeah,
to the
I'm
I'm
starting
sorry,
to.
I've been ignoring for the last 10 minutes. What's
Well,
going
yeah,
on?
both y'all.
I'm starting to think Ken's pretty sus. If we're being
Both
honest here.
y'all sound pretty sus to me.
I ain't part of your fam.
That's my Among Us talk. It's actually quality. It's a quality game. Other than that, Overwatch. Have been playing some Sunset Overdrive for Phoenix Down. So let me talk to you guys about something funny about Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive is a game where if you boot up the game, you don't go to a main menu. It just drops you into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a save, you can't manually start a new game. And I had to jump through 3 different hoops to finally figure out how to start a new game in Sunset Overdrive. Because you can't just delete your save off of your hard drive, because every time you log in as you, it automatically downloads your cloud save. And it took me 20 minutes to figure out how to delete my cloud save. I really wish Xbox had the ability to just look at all your cloud stuff and say, I want to manually delete this.
It's the convenience that they built in, that wherever you log in, it just grabs your save. But it also becomes a hindrance when a game is like, nah, dog, you don't get no menu.
Nope. That's so far
no.
that's the only game I've ran into that does that. But I was just like, really? I have to go into my Xbox and manually delete a save to start a new game in this video game? Like, that's a major oversight there. You'd think that somebody with the caliber would know to maybe put in a main menu.
Yeah, you would think, and don't ever expect that game to get patched because Insomniac is now bought by Sony.
Yeah, so there you go. I did play some Sunset Overdrive. I forgot. I like that game a lot. I also don't like that game a lot.
The momentum stuff takes you a little while to get into a groove.
Exactly. And when you lose momentum, that game turns into a slog.
Yep.
Yep.
But
It's
when
not
you have
fun when
momentum,
It
It's
feels
awesome.
awesome. It's like it's 0 to 60. It's either you're going slow as crap and I don't like how this is playing, and then when you actually get into that groove, you're like, this is awesome.
Yep.
And I've ran into both those aspects of it, and I'm just like, yeah, this is not fun. And it's like, well, you're playing it wrong. Well, let me play it how I want to.
But you're not allowed to do that.
Not allowed to do that.
It's the Dark Souls of open world games.
It is. It most
No.
certainly is.
You got to play it the way it wants you to play it, or you don't like it.
And I don't mind the humor in it. There's some jokes that fall flat, but then there's some that are just like, all right, that's kind of funny.
I remember really liking the intro sequence. Doesn't it just tell you you're fucked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the first time you fast travel in that game, you just get drunk and pass out, and then you wake up in a porta potty in your destination. And I'm just like, okay.
Every time is a different animation
Yep.
when you die.
Yep.
It's a cool ass game. It really is.
It's got style to it. I'll give it that.
Yep.
I think that's it, though.
All right. Anthony, I'll move over to you.
All right. I was expecting me to go last because I have last before you can because you always go last.
Yeah, I like to let you guys go.
All right. I played more Pumpkin Jack. I see that you've played that too, Ken.
A lot of that game. That game is so good.
Yeah. I really hated those minecarts though.
I like the minecart levels. I don't know why.
So I'll tell you why I didn't like it. It took me a while to get a hang of it. I finally get the hang of it. I'm like, all right, I know what I was messing up. And then there's like the last minecart of the second level. There is there's a part where you need to jump and you can barely see that the track is split. And it's like right after you have to shoot something. And it's like, ugh. I kept falling at that spot because I was like, I forgot to jump again. And it's like, it's you can't move the camera. So it's like you're blocking that hole the whole time. But other than that, like, I love that game. That is a great fucking game.
I've just got the sword. I'm a little past the sword.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I played more Among Us. We talked about it last week that it was coming to Game Pass. Carto.
Yeah, I tried to play that. I don't care for that game.
I love that game.
I figured you might.
That is a
There's
very
something
much
about-
me game. I totally understand that.
It's a neat concept of like moving the pieces to create a new part of the world, but it just didn't click with me.
So that game, it's a puzzle game where you are moving square pieces of the world, and there's only certain ways that they connect. So like water can't connect to land without a shoreline, etc., etc. But people will give you clues to what you have to do, and it's a really neat environmental puzzle game. I go back to Reventure, where the idea is not so much that you're solving a puzzle outright, it is just doing certain things in a certain order, but it's figuring out the order logically. they'll tell you like, oh, you need the this way, the curving path leads to this. The straight path the other way goes to this. So you start putting pieces in place, and it doesn't do anything if you're using straight lines on the curved path. So it's like there's some really neat stuff with that, but like the music and the story, and I don't know, there was just something about it. And like the first segment is this, like I think each like island that you go to basically has its own story. And the first one's kind of sad. It's like this coming of age story where this girl's never going to see her family again because it's just what the tribe does is you sail away and you populate a new island. And so it's really sad, and the music's playing and it's beautiful. It's just like everything is just right in this game. I love this so far. Like the art style is really neat. I think it's actually 3D animated. Like I think they're using like some sort of like 3D software, and then everything's kind of 2D on it. But yeah, I really was enjoying that, and I have the big game for review, and I was trying to pump it out, but like embargo was Thursday. I got it Monday and couldn't play it till Tuesday because it was downloading. And that's Watch Dogs Legion. I'll just start if anybody has any questions about it, because that'll be easier to do than go into everything.
I would love to talk to you about this game, Anthony, but I booted it up and I'm running an Xbox One X, and apparently this thing is trying to destroy Xbox One X's.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, this game crashes a lot.
Yeah, I've not heard my Xbox One X this loud ever.
Like
it is just like you can just. Oh,
I can't call this game buggy in the sense that, like, if you think back to Assassin's Creed Unity, that was buggy.
Yeah.
This game runs fine and then will stutter and then crash. Like it freezes and then crashes. Like I know that is a bug. I'm sure someone will say, "Oh, that's buggy." But it's like, it's very specifically that. The only time I've ever had a glitch was like, there was a video effect that was laid on the screen, and when I came back out of it, after like hacking into something, it showed that animation coming out of it again, and the whole world kind of looked like it was the Matrix. Like when Neo sees the Matrix in the real world, that's kind of just highlighted around the edges. It was a glitch. It wasn't supposed to be like that. So that was the only sort of main issues I had. I'm gonna assume there's no questions about this, but I'm liking it more than Watch Dogs 2, which I
That was my question.
So this game is weird in the sense that there's no main character. And because there's no main character, you're really only sticking with certain characters because of the skills and the special abilities they have. Because otherwise, no one's special. And so that's a little jarring when it comes to the story. But it's taking itself more seriously. There is still some humor, but definitely not as much as 2, which leaned heavily into like their off-brand memes. Like they had Rage comic images, but they couldn't use the actual thing, so they like redrew them. It's Ubisoft needs a lore person. Like for all their big series, Ubisoft needs someone to just watch over the lore aspect, because this game doesn't really connect to 2, which doesn't really connect to 1, other than they've just used the similar parts. Like jumping from 1 to 2 at least made more sense than this. Like this is so futuristic that like so a big part of this game is drones. And by that I mean flying drones. Like they are delivering parcels, they're watching the streets, so your cameras are hooked to drones. There's defense drones, and then there's cargo drones, which are these gigantic things that you can ride upon. So you just jump on one of those, hack it, and then fly it around the city and just use that as a platform to stand on. It's a neat thing, and I do like this game. I feel like I'm dogging it, but so the neat part is that I can't just do everything by flying a drone. That was my issue with 2's gameplay, was almost everything could be solved with, I have an RC car and a drone, and one of those two things will get me all the way there, except for the odd time where it can't. And even then, there's enough stuff where I can just kind of brute force my way through. This game, unless your character has an actual gun, everything is stun based. So the characters won't get up, but you're not killing people. They're all like stun guns, stun shotgun of all things, a stun submachine gun, and a stun grenade launcher. Sure. Yeah, but like
Metal Gear Solid 5 had that as well.
But that was an issue with 2, was that they were 3D printing weapons, and then they were killing people, and it was totally against the characters that they had written. Even though in this game, you're just playing as anyone, but like, you know, unless you're playing as a security guard that has a gun, most characters don't have guns, so they've focused more on melee combat, which is pretty good. It feels kind of like the old Assassin's Creed combat, but there's a lot of focus on stealth now. The spider bot is fantastic. You can do a lot of stuff with the spider bot, but it's still a tool to get you in places. Like, I don't feel like I can just... You can't do every mission with the spider bot. It's just not possible. But it's a big help. All my issues with the gameplay in 2 have been fixed. Now multiplayer hasn't been implemented, so maybe that'll be the same. But you can't just have a drone early on. Everything has to be unlocked. You have to find skill points. You can unlock skill points by doing missions as well. I think that's the only kind of issue with the gameplay, is that I have to keep getting people that have certain abilities, because it's so hard to level up or get a new skill. And you can only have one gadget at a time, which I don't necessarily love. But the rest of the sort of inventory wheel is saved for all the special abilities that characters may have. And you recruit characters by scanning people on the street. So all the information you used to get in Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2, that's now applicable because, oh, this character is doing this. So I know, like, when you bring up, it's an upgrade, you can bring up like things that person's doing, and you can solve problems for them, or you can just ask them and they'll have a mission, depending on how they feel about DedSec. Lots of parkour, lots of exploration. This city is very dense, which I like. That was an issue with 2, was that there wasn't like this big downtown section, and there was a lot of empty space, like San Francisco Bay, I think that's what it's called, right? I don't know, I'm not from the States. But it was just this big open body of water that took up most of the map, and there was nothing in it. So this game is very dense. The only thing that's like weird that this game has no purpose for is the money. The money is all spent. You can buy clothes for characters, but you only see those clothes on them when you're playing as them, because there will be interactions between the members that you recruit, and they'll talk to each other, and then they'll be in their default. The one you're not playing as will be back in their default clothes, which kind of seems pointless to spend money on it. So that's weird. But I have a spy, I have a professional killer, I have a construction worker, and they all do different things, and it's kind of neat. I wish I'd turned on permadeath. It would have made, because you only get one shot at it. You can turn permadeath on at the beginning, and if you turn it on, you can turn it off. But you can't turn it back on again. And I was just like, I'm just going to play it without. And I kind of wish I had, because it would make it seem like a little bit more serious when I'm entering a place and get shot and killed. Sometimes it's just I'm just going to reset and use the next person. Yeah, there's a lot in this game. I'm still going through it. The story missions are way more fascinating, but even just the bureau, so you unlock parts of the city. It's very old school Ubisoft sort of game. You don't have to climb any towers, but you do parts of the city to earn their respect, basically. And the final missions in each segment are pretty unique. And the stuff that the story is covering is fantastic. Basically, DedSec has been framed for a bunch of murders from a new organization called Zero Day. You're trying to figure out who Zero Day is, and all the while, Bloom, the company that put in all the wires basically for everyone, they're kind of taking a back seat in this, and they're just the ones that made all the technology. Albion is this privatized military that's basically taken over England, and you're trying to shut them down, but they're deporting students that visa with student visas because the school is closed, and they're rallying them up and putting them in converted out stadiums, and you're finding out that people are going missing, but we're also missing within the company, and they're experimenting on people, and they're human trafficking, and it's pretty fucked up, the stuff that they're covering, and maybe a little bit too close to home right now. But I'm loving it. Like, I was playing right before I did the show. I was doing a mission to unlock another bureau. Burrow. Sorry, bureau. Yeah, the story missions apparently get even weirder. But the problem is that the story missions sometimes ask too much of me as a player because I don't have enough unlocked to make it easier for myself. So then I have to go do a bunch of side shit. But then I also had to find the upgrade points in that area, which is more work. So I think that's the only gameplay gripe I really have is just there's so much stuff, and not a single piece of it feels unimportant other than the clothes. So I feel like I have to kind of do everything because I need it to level up so I can do the bigger mission, so I can do the main missions. But it's a really good game. I just wish it ran more consistently and didn't crash.
Yeah, I think that's after jumping into it, I played through just the opening tutorial mission, and my Xbox sounded like it was about to explode. And then not only that, but Series X is launching next week, and this game will have full, ray tracing reflections and variable rate shading and stuff. And I think this game is beautiful on X, but I really want to see it on Series X, and I think it probably won't, burn up my Xbox while I'm doing it as well. I do wish the Series X version was running at 60, but it is the one Ubisoft game that will not. So
I think it's probably just because of how much crap they have stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I think when I played it, I didn't think it played bad. I thought the shooting felt good, the parkour feels good, all of that stuff feels good. So I'm okay with 30. It would play better at 60, no doubt in my mind.
For sure. It's just I noticed today while I was on drone, oh, that car is moving at 15 frames. It is just this. It had to be single digit frames, but it was almost a still image that they were moving. And it's if you don't look at it, right? If you're not looking at it because it's kind of off to the peripheral, it looks right. But as soon as you start looking at it as a player, oh wow, that is so they can have it look like cars are driving in the distance, even though that there is no model of a car there.
And from what I understand, and this may become a bigger thing next generation when we talk about games, it's worth noting that you're playing on an OG Xbox.
That is true as well.
And I heard through the grapevine, because I haven't watched the Digital Foundry video, that version is the most fucked up version of that game.
Potentially. Like, honestly, that's the reason why I don't want to say it's buggy. Like, the fact that it's been crashing, it's like, oh, it got hung up going between two menus. There's so much, like, just so I can break it down. Like, so in the previous Watch Dogs games, every character that you came across, all it had to do was pick, hey, this character, this is a randomized name, this is a randomized job, blah 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 blah. Fine. This game has to have, this is a randomized name, this is the abilities they have, here's a background story, this character may be related to somebody else you've saved, so now it has to randomize that, and it has to do it in a split second as you see them walking around. Like, you walk down a street, every single person on the street is a potentially playable character. That's a lot. And it saves that data because, forgot to mention, this game is the, I think, first sort of game to have a nemesis system since Shadow of Mordor. So if I beat up the same guy multiple times, he gets a vendetta, and then I think they call it rival or something like that. Like, he gets upgraded as an enemy.
That's
So
pretty cool.
I've heard, I can't confirm it, but I've heard that sometimes your team members go missing, and it's one of those type of characters has kidnapped them. That's from a guy that works at Ubisoft saying that, so I'm going to assume he's not lying. Like, today I killed someone at random while I was, like, raiding through to get an upgrade point, and I think something else. And it said, like, oh, you killed this type of person, and apparently I had run into them before. So that's another thing. Like, if I scan someone, it'll tell me my past history with them. Like, oh, as this character, you did this to them. You put them in the hospital, or you killed their brother, or like, you saved this person from being beaten up by Albion guards on the street. Like, it's a weird thing to think about that all these characters in this game now have some personality. At the fault of none of them having a full personality, but, like, there is some weird history to these characters in this world that I've been playing in, and it's consistent. They bring a character in and, like, oh yeah, that's the voice of that character. It's very odd to think about this game like that, an open world game like that. Just everybody's has something going on. So I can understand why this game sometimes crashes as I move between the menu of, hey, these are all the playable characters I have, and here's all the upgrades I can get. So I'm a little bit forgiving on that fact. Like, the game runs consistently for hours and then crashes on me. I've been playing for 10 plus hours now, and I have had 7 crashes maybe. And it's not like a full crash. It just brings me back to desktop, or not desktop, dashboard, and I pop back in. It's just a little bit of inconvenience. I've only lost any sort of progress once. So,
All right.
I'm going to push through and try to get the review done as soon as possible while it's still relevant. And Pumpkin Jack being the same thing. I wish I'd gotten out for Halloween, but then I also was trying to get to an embargo that was impossible. So
I'm looking forward to playing it come next week. All right. Anything else?
no.
All right. Wombat, are you still awake?
What? Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, I am still awake, and I haven't played anything that anybody's probably going to be all that interested in. I did finish Greedfall this week, which took me just over 40 hours.
Whew.
Man, that game is so good. It's so good, and it's one of the rare games that doesn't feel set up for a sequel at all. Like it feels like it just ended and that's it. We're done.
That's kind of Spider's MO, right? I don't know, Drew. You might know better than I do. They've never made a sequel.
Nope. Technomancer,
not that I
Greedfall. They
know
got
of.
that new game coming out.
Bound for
Bound
Blood.
by Flame.
Bound by Flame. That's right. They kind of just do one and dones. So.
Yep. And it even so this isn't a spoiler, but so for those who don't know, it's a little bit. I described it on Twitter as reminding me of a mix between Dragon Age, The Witcher 2, and the Gothic series. And it's the combat reminds me a bit of Witcher 2, the sort of setting and graphic design kind of reminds me of the Gothic series a little bit. And there are companions that you pick up along the way, and it kind of reminds me of Dragon Age in that, or just BioWare in general, in that your companions have their own side quests that you can also do to increase your standing with each of the companions, and there are romances available with some of the companions. It's got that kind of BioWare style hook to it. But it, the quests specifically with those companions are generally really good. And then the game ends with like an 80s movie where it gives you like a little clip about what happened to each one of them afterwards. So and so did this, and so did this, and so went on to do blah blah blah. So it even kind of gives you a little bit of closure about each one of the companions and some of the other main characters in the game. So it was really really good. And if you like Western RPGs, if you like the 3 games that I mentioned, and you find 40 hours, it's worth playing for sure. Outside of that, I played, I booted up Legends of Ghost of Tsushima just long enough to play the like tutorial for each one of the characters. I'll eventually play some more of that, but really I just wanted to kind of see the art style and get a feel for each one of the characters. The art style is super cool. I have a feeling that's going to be a really cool mode. I played some more Genshin Impact, which I'm still enjoying, even if it's got like it's a little overwhelming to go back to, honestly, because of the different like currencies and stuff. But I'm still having a good time with it. I do want to mention. Let me also say I'm playing Sniper Elite 4 on the Switch for review, but I can't talk about it yet. I do want to mention because Ken will enjoy this. So, my son plays a lot of Roblox, and anyone who's ever been on Roblox knows that there's some goofy shit on Roblox.
Oh God, yes.
And so last night, I was getting ready to go outside, and I hear my son say, word for word, "Oh no, the Ice Age baby is after me." And I was like, what the hell is he playing? And then, and this is the part that Ken will appreciate, he goes, "Oh no, Caillou's after me. Get railgunned, Caillou."
Fuck Caillou.
And I said, "Jacob, what the hell are you playing?" I didn't say what the hell to my son. I said, "What are you playing?" He said, "It's on Roblox. It's called Kill the Ice Age Baby and His Friends."
Oh,
I said, "Oh my God!" So he's fighting against the Ice Age Baby, Boss Baby, Caillou, several other children's characters
Someone
in
has
like
to
a
do it.
third-person shooter.
fuck it. Tell him to solely single out Caillou. Just fuck him up.
Yeah,
That thing's been on the air way too long.
One episode was too long.
get railgun.
You're
Caillou.
correct. You're correct, but
Oh my god, my son, when he watched that show, I just remember sitting there on the couch going, "Oh my fucking god!" Just drill into my brain.
He's
Who-
just
who
a
is
kid who's
Caillou?
4. Oh,
Oh,
Drew.
Drew. Oh,
I hope to God that when you and your wife have kids, it is well past the time of Caillou.
Oh, I was
Yes.
gonna say, you hope
Is the
that
name of the show Caillou?
yeah, it's called Caillou.
Yes,
I have never heard this.
Caillou.
Yeah, he's a little ball-headed kid.
he
and
does
all
not
of
have
it.
cancer. Let's make it clear.
He's a little ball-headed kid who's a bitch.
He's a little ball-headed prick, is what he is. Oh.
Yeah, he is. He's a terrible child. He's a terrible kid.
Fuck that
Okay.
kid. Tell your child he
He's
can
just
watch
let me
Caillou.
tell you what he is. Let me tell you what he is, Drew. He's just a kid who's 4, and each day he learns some more.
Don't
He
sing
loves
the song.
exploring.
Don't sing
He's
the fucking
Caillou.
song. God damn it.
That was just for you, kid.
That's some PTSD from that fucking song.
Is that the new song then? Because that is not the song that used to play when I was younger.
Well, you're Canadian, and it's a Canadian show, so they probably got some weird Canada song.
Yeah, no, it's not that it's been on like the air for 20 years or whatever.
Got some weird Canada song. Shut your fucking face, I go fuck out. That's the Caillou song.
That's what I wanted to say to Caillou.
Absolutely. You're a boner biting bastard, Uncle Fucker.
All right, well, you know,
Oh shit. Yep, fuck that. Oh fuck. Oh goddamn. Fuck that dude. Put a picture up of him in the
of
Discord.
course he's crying.
Of course he's
Caillou
always
feels
Little
lonely.
crying.
bitch.
He's always crying.
Fuck that.
Don't be such a
bald-headed
bitch, Caillou.
And one of the first headlines that come up when you search for Caillou is an aggressively bad show.
I would agree with all of that.
Yeah, there it is. A
Yeah,
tantrum. There's a fucking surprise.
The first time you hear him cry, Drew, it's just, ugh.
Miserable.
Yeah. Let's I'm just gonna attempt to just stay away from that as much as possible.
His dad and his
I
stupid
wanna watch
green
Caillou.
sweatshirt.
The fuck you do?
Caillou. Fuck that dude.
Anyhow,
So you're trying to kill Caillou in this?
he's
Yeah.
an enemy who is also trying to kill you,
As is the Ice Age
which is
baby.
not a stretch because I felt like he was trying to kill me every time I watched that show.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Anyhow,
Fuck Caillou.
that's it for me. Although, Ken, you may be interested in purchasing this for your personal collection.
If I run for president, my entire platform will be fuck Caillou.
And you'll win in a landslide.
Absolutely, everybody
Stop.
will vote for me.
We're gonna stop all Canadian imports, especially that bastard Caillou.
Yeah, I'm putting a tariff on Caillou. He cannot come to the States in any form or fashion. Just fuck Caillou.
So when you search, by the way, I just want to add, when you search for Caillou Canada, the first headline I found says Caillou is the worst thing that has ever happened to Canadian media, and it's gotten to the point where Canadians are publicly apologizing for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never met a person that's like, you know that shit, Caillou?
Quote,
My kids
while
love it, so do
Canadians
I."
may not have the same opinion on various subjects, it seems the entire country can agree that Caillou is the worst.
These are all accurate statements.
Agreed.
Uh,
Oh Lord. All right. Anything else? No more Caillou.
No more Caillou. Nope. That's
All
it.
right.
I've got one I forgot about, Ken.
Okay. What's up?
It's quick. It's a mobile game. Mobile game.
All right, we're done.
Called The Quest. And Ryan, you might want to take a look at that. It's a like open world RPG. It's
Give me
turn-based.
the name one more time.
The Quest.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah, it's got like a skull for like it's got like a skull with like horns coming out of it for the logo.
is it mobile?
Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
Android and
Yeah, I remember The Quest.
Okay, yeah. I've
Not the
gotten back
Jean-Claude
into
Van
that.
Damme movie, The Quest, though.
Oh shit.
I actually
But-
like that movie.
I've gotten back into that game because I've never actually finished it. And like the disappointing part is if you get it on PC, it has the 2-pack, like it has the Island of Ice and Fire and the main game, but none of the third-party expansions that are available on the phone. So I've started playing them on my phone again.
Cool.
Did
All
you
right.
play? Did you play Legends of Grimrock?
Yeah, same sort of style. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
played too much of Legends of Grimrock, but I got into those games because of Doom 2 RPG and Wolfenstein RPG.
Gotcha.
I've only played Legends of Fraggle Rock. Thank you.
You're welcome. You
All right.
can't say Fraggle Rock without the claps.
That is true. That is true. I forgot the claps, and I feel I should have my Fraggle Rock license taken away.
Is that
All
a
right.
thing?
What, you don't know about it? But you ain't in the club. I've
was
already
not.
said too much.
How you feel about frilly toothpicks? I'm for 'em. This club's formed.
Oh shit.
Thanks, Mitch.
All right. I have a DualSense controller.
Can you use it?
I keep pointing it at my TV, and it's not making the Spider-Mans. So Drew, it doesn't work.
Gotcha.
No, I ordered an extra controller for both new consoles, and Amazon shipped my DualSense controller. I got it out the box. It's heavy. It feels like it cost $70, unlike the DualShock 4 that felt like it cost $12. It feels good. It's got like a little texture grip on the bottom. The buttons are a little squishy, like they're not clicky. So I'm gonna have to get used to that. The PlayStation button is not easy to press. It's further down, and then the share and options buttons also feel a little. I don't know. I need to use it on something actually. But from what I can, from what I've done so far, it feels pretty good. It definitely feels better than the DualShock 4. I still don't like the asymmetrical analog sticks. Never will. And they feel kind of the same as the DualShock, so I feel like I'm afraid that my fingers will slip off of them. Like nobody's made analog sticks as good as the Xbox One controller, in my opinion.
You mean symmetrical sticks?
Yeah.
Sorry, yes, symmetrical.
Because you said asymmetrical, and I'm like, I thought they were symmetrical still.
Never
That would've been
mind.
weird.
You're right.
Okay.
You're right. I just chose the wrong word. I don't like the sticks next to each other. They need to pick up real estate in other places. Ergonomically, it's just better. That's
You gotta keep them separated.
fucking right. You gotta keep them separated. So I just want to talk a little bit about that's the only next gen thing I have because I am not cool like the rest of the internet who I don't know if you guys' Twitter feed's been blown up like mine, but every single fucking person I know has an Xbox Series X and or PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah, and
like
credit to Xbox PR. They did, respond to me and explain to me the situation. I was like, that's cool.
Here's
it
the
actually-
situation. No.
They're basically
Yeah,
we ain't got none. We ain't got none. Which is fine. I respect the thing about dealing with PR, and not to go too much into the weeds about it. If you respond to me, I'm usually pretty good. I'm like, okay, at least you're talking to me. Would you just ignore my emails because you don't want to tell me no? It really kind of irritates me. Like, let me know because, like I was telling Drew and Anthony this week, I'm dumping games on you guys left and right, and I need to know if we're going to get said game because otherwise I'm going to call Drew and be like, hey, can you do this indie game? Because if Drew's handling something like I gave him Pikmin 3 on Friday, I'm not going to give him 2 indie games and Pikmin 3.
Yeah.
So tell me you're sending me this thing or tell me you're not. Because if you're not, then I can give Drew 2 indie games. And that's kind of what I wanted with the systems. I'm like, just tell me whether you are or you're not. Because while I can't talk about everything, I'm literally playing a bunch of the launch games for next week right now. Like, I'm playing them now. So my question would have been, hey, do I hold these reviews if you're going to send me an Xbox or a PlayStation? Or do I just go ahead and review them for what they are? Kind of deal. So it helps to know. So kudos to Microsoft for that. But yeah, that's the first next gen thing that I have. I'll go through smaller stuff first before I get to, I do have a big one that the embargo drops tomorrow morning, and I can talk about that one, so I'll get to that one last. Cobra Kai, I played this. So there's been a lot of nostalgia-driven games. Anthony, you did Nickelodeon Kart Racers.
Yep.
I did G.I. Joe, which was bad.
What you really mean to say is there was a lot of game.
There's a lot of game mill games, yes. Although the third one on my list, Transformers Battlegrounds, was not Game Mill. It was a different company.
And so far, that's been the worst, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. G.I. Joe's pretty bad.
But it sounded like when you said it, G.I. Joe was still a better time than the clearly mobile game ported to PS4, Xbox One.
It's weird. It's hard. Cobra Kai's not bad.
That's good.
It's a beat 'em up. The levels are way too long, and there's a lot of times where I'll get into like a combo animation where I'm facing the wrong way, and I kind of just gotta wait it out, and I don't like that mechanic. But I do like the game. One thing I truly appreciate about the Cobra Kai game, it has all of the voice actors from the show. So Ralph Macchio's in this fucking game.
Well, it's not like he's doing anything else.
I mean, he's making Cobra Kai.
At that point,
Yeah,
though, like as a game developer, if you're like, can you come and voice your character from the show that this is based on? And if you went no to any sum of money, the response should have been, well, what the fuck else are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Or were they beating
Okay, so
down your
the
door,
only
Ralph
show that
Macchio?
you've been in, the only show that you've been in for 25 years, you're not willing to voice the character for extra money? What's wrong with
That toupee won't pay for itself. Son of a bitch.
So yeah, it's fine. It's a real kind of generic beat 'em up. So if you like the show, you're probably, because at the beginning you can pick which side you want to play. You can either play the Miyagi-Do or the Cobra Kai. So that dictates which characters you get to play as. It's fine. It's a neat game. I wish the levels were a little shorter because I feel like they just drag on and on and on and on. And sometimes I just want to jump in and play for a couple minutes and then jump back out. But it's fine. I can't say that I actually played it, but all the Five Nights at Freddy's games dropped on Game Pass this week, and I'd never played one.
My son played them since they popped in for free.
Yeah, and I booted it up, and like I literally all you can do is like look left and right and press a button, and I'm like, okay.
That is I'm not a fan of those games. However,
Those games are like the video game versions of Saw or Final Destination, where like they just keep making sequels, and you don't know why.
No, I can tell you why they make them, because I went down the rabbit hole of, wow, this guy wrote a lot of lore.
Hey, there's a shit ton of lore in Saw too, but people are like, "Why?"
This is better than the Saw lore, because Saw sort of lost what made itself like a good movie. This never deviated from it fully, right? Like these games never deviated from the setup. I think they're extremely tense games for something that doesn't do a lot. The tension's always high, which is what I prefer. I don't like the jump scare that comes at the end of it, but it's a very smart way to do a lot with very little. And so you are sitting in the security room watching these things. You're trying to track where these animatronics are going and trying to make sure they don't get you in the security room. You can't leave that room, and all you can do is close the doors and look at your laptop to see where they are, like security cameras to see where they are. It's, again, and each game had a different twist on that formula. And then 4 ended up being like this weird thing where you had a bunch, like you were a kid in a bedroom. And that didn't really make a lot of sense. But
Yeah, that's the one that my son has been playing the most of. He likes that one.
that one's probably the most, like, if you're going to ask me, like, which one's the most like a video game, it's that one. But
Yeah, I don't know.
like
I couldn't.
3 only has one animatronic, and it's creepy as all hell. And I was like, this is impressive. And then I read about it, and I'm like, wow, I can understand why people fell in love with these games, even though they're not for me.
Yeah,
I'd
just never
read
played one.
or watch the comic, or read or watch the movie type of thing. But yeah, I totally understand.
I've been playing AVGN Deluxe, which has 1 and 2 on it. Those games continue to be solid. It's nice to see the stuff they added, make it more accessible, and not to mention add new bosses and stuff. If you don't watch AVGN, that game is not going to be for you. Clearly. Like, it's a solid 2D platformer, but what makes it really good is all of the stupid little references to the shows that he's done. For like, God, how long has he been doing shows now? It's ridiculous.
Over a decade.
Yeah. So.
Holy shit. No.
It's a lot longer than that.
14 years?
Yeah, 14 years.
15 years?
So, that's a solid collection. And if you are in any way a fan of that dude and his shows, you should pick it up.
Ooh.
It sucks right now because it's only on Steam and Switch.
16 years?
Oh, well, you know.
Holy shit.
Longer than we've been doing the show.
Just over, yeah.
Yeah. But it is coming to PS4 and Xbox very soon. So if you want to hold out, you can hold out. But if you've got Switch or PC, you can play it right now. We already talked about Pumpkin Jack. Ghost Runner. So this game is weird. It is a first-person melee-focused game where you're doing parkour, and the best thing I can describe it to is Trials. So, and the reason that it's comparable to Trials is because it's literally you fuck up and you're done. So you're kind of going through this level, jumping, slashing, dodging. If you get hit one time, it's game over. So you need to master kind of the moves that you can do and dodging bullet, because the enemies have guns, so they can shoot you. And if they hit you, you're dead. So you kind of got to master this like ballet of death through these levels. What makes it work is that as soon as you die, you hit one button and you're right back up, and you're right back pretty much where you were, and you just try to do a different way. So it's got kind of that. Sorry, go ahead.
As I say, it sounds like first-person Katana Zero.
Yes. It's broken down into levels like that where you go through and you have to get through, like, just for an example of like kind of how hard and complicated it is. The first level, the kind of teach you how to play this game level, I died 16 times. It's that hard. Like, there will be spots where you'll get frustrated and then you'll try to do it faster. You'll try to take a different path and then you die. It looks really, really good. It's got a real sharp look to it, real kind of futuristic, cyberpunk kind of feel. It's very visceral. It's fun. I'm enjoying it so far. It's one of those games that can beat me over the head constantly, and I still want to keep playing it. So, the indie games this week, I'll punch through these real quick. Wonderling is a I don't want to call it a runner, but it's a constantly moving game where your character's just moving left and right, and he keeps going back and forth. You got to make jumps, jump over obstacles. Fine. That game we joked about for 2 weeks, Legends of Eternal. I played that. It's a 2D side scroller. Got an interesting art style. It's fine. Sweet Witches is a game where your character, the objective is to go through a stage. It's kind of a puzzle game. You go through a stage and you have to make all these flowers grow, but there are enemies in the level that will either kill you, chase you, or eat the flowers and make you have to put them back up again. Basically, when you walk over it, it makes the flower grow. And you've got to dodge the enemies while doing all this stuff. It's fine. It's a neat game. Can be played co-op, which that's a cool feature. Visage, I didn't play a ton of this. It's another first-person horror game where you're walking through a house. I didn't play a ton of this game, but when it boots up, it immediately just tells you this game's real fucking hard. Make sure you pay attention. So it's clear what that game is going for. Jeopardy Play Show came out, and from what I can tell, I didn't play it. I booted it up, and it's like it's showing episodes of the show that people can play, kind of like Jackbox Party, where you log in with a code and a bunch of people play together. So it's one of those style of games. Stories Untold is the latest Devolver game. This is a
Text adventure that you actually are sitting at a computer in the game.
like you sit at the computer and you make the choices of the text adventure to do the different actions. It's got a neat vibe to it, but I don't know that I really care for the format. So
It's never not a text adventure, but it gets creepy.
yeah, I like the aesthetic. It's got a very Stranger Things vibe to it, which I thought was cool.
I think that came out around the same time as I want to say it's .0 or something like that, where it was like a text adventure that you actually moved a character around in first person, but you talked to an AI via like typing in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like there was a couple of games around the same time that all came out, so that's been on the PC for a while. It
just made its move to console. Yeah,
it's weird that it's coming to console because it's a game that requires you to type.
You don't type in this; it gives you.
I'm only vaguely familiar with it, so
yeah, like the Xbox version uses the controller, like you pull up a menu and it gives you all of the different options that you can use to type, like look at or use or pick up and things like that. So, Cube Raiders is a very bad, like, you remember, was it called Devil Dice?
Yep.
Where you're standing on a cube and you're flipping cubes it's like a puzzle game like that. It's that. Exactly what it is. Unrailed is a game where this might sell you on it, but don't buy it. I played as a penguin building a railroad track for a train to move across the level.
You're telling me I should not be sold based on that?
Exactly. So it's got a little bit of Minecraft mixed into it, where you have to chop down trees to get wood. You have to mine stones to get metal to build train tracks. And the objective is to keep the train from hitting the end of the track. So, like, you have to build it so it loops. And yes, I was a penguin, but no, that does not make it worth buying. I apologize. There are two indie battle royales that came out this week that I played, and can we just stop with the battle royales, please? So, one of the reasons I say that is, like, nobody's playing your fucking games. It's not that your game is bad, just nobody's fucking playing them, because nobody wants to play battle royale right now unless it's one of the big dogs like Fortnite. So the first one I played is called Star 99. I booted it up, I selected play game, and it said, hey, we got a patch coming where we're going to make this crossplay because we can't fill the fucking game. I'm like, well, delete. Like, what's the point? If you can't play it, what's the point?
Right.
The other
99 people drop into a map. If we can find that many, maybe there'll be 2.
Yeah, like I couldn't get a match. And I'm just like, okay. So it's like, can you fill it with bots? So I was like, okay, so I tried to fill it with bots, but the menus are so fucking broken I couldn't figure out how to start it even with bots.
The bots don't want to play this game either.
Yeah, even the bots didn't want to join. I was like, okay, no, I'm done. The other one's called Axes, and it looks like Minecraft with people throwing things at each other. It's not good. It's not good at all.
It's not good.
I'm just going to be honest, it's not good. Now, the best indie game that came out this week is one that has been out on other platforms, and that is Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Finally came to the Xbox, and that game is still fucking awesome.
Indie.
It came in it was an indie, it was an ID at Xbox game.
I don't know what the fuck about that makes it indie.
Because the developer that made it's an indie developer, or the developer that ported it.
Oh, yeah. Star Wars license. It's an independent thing.
You know what? It's $15 and it's on sale on Switch and PS4. And if you don't own it, buy it.
That game could be $20 and it's still worth your time and money.
God, that game is so good. Fuck. Am I taking a drink through a straw? What was that?
No, sorry, I had to move my headset.
Exactly what it sounded like.
Wombat is thirsty, y'all. He's thirsty for that Star Wars.
Thirsty for a headset. It's not bothering my head.
Speaking of Star Wars, that First episode of The Mandalorian was really fucking good. No spoilers.
I haven't watched any of them ever.
Oh, that show is the best thing to happen to Star Wars since fucking Return of the Jedi. So good. All right, I'm playing 3 other games. I can only tell you about one of them. The 2 I can't tell you about. One of them is Yakuza. The other one I don't even think I can tell you that I have, although Ryan knows what it is.
Yes.
I could take a wild guess.
It's not hard to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I know what it is too.
Was I playing a game from the same publisher? Maybe.
I can't answer that question, Anthony. So, like I said,
Can you blink twice, but you have to audibly blink?
No.
All right.
The game I can tell you about the embargo drops tomorrow morning is Dirt 5. So I've been playing this for about a week. Anthony, I wanted to bring this up during your conversation, but I think between these 2 games, and I'm not going to talk about the other 2 I'm playing, it feels like these games are saying, hey, y'all, don't play me on these last generation consoles. Dirt 5 has an image quality mode. I do not recommend you ever use it on last gen consoles because the game doesn't lock to a frame rate. Now, to be fair, I was told there was a patch coming this weekend before embargo to fix some of these issues, and I read the list, and it seems like it's going to fix some of these issues. As of last night at 11 p.m., the last time I checked for this patch, it does not exist yet. So I've been playing strictly on performance mode, which holds a pretty solid 60 FPS. It does not drop very often. Now, the trade-off for that is it screen tears like a motherfucker. Which again is also supposed to be addressed in the patch that I have not gotten yet. So I have written a big chunk of my review. I am ready for the embargo tomorrow morning. I am debating holding off on it because the game does not launch until the 6th.
However, I'd argue. Oh yeah, I guess waiting for the day that it comes out is at least a little bit more fair. I was gonna say,
Yes.
to be fair, they're selling this version, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, not everybody's buying a new console to play Watch Dogs, right? You can get it on Xbox One, PS4. So, it's also it's not fair to say like, oh, we're not reviewing those versions either.
No. I'm definitely going to be reviewing those versions of. Since I don't have a Series X, spoiler alert, Microsoft don't love me. I have to review the current versions that are out. And Dirt 5 is fine right now. Like, the screen tearing sucks, but it has not stopped me from really. That's the one thing I want to get through is this game is really fucking fun. If you've ever played Evolution's other games, MotorStorm, some of the other racing games that they've done, Onrush, Dirt 5 is fucking a blast to play. I love playing this game. Like, the variation of the modes is fun. The car's control feels so good. It is very, very, very beautiful to look at. Some of the best HDR I've ever seen in a video game. Like, it just pops off the screen. The colors are so vibrant. I love that the career mode is very, very dynamic into what you're doing. You're never doing the same kind of, modes over and over again. So I'm really enjoying the game. But seeing the image quality mode even an option because I played 2 or 3 races with it turned on, and it was almost unplayable and it's not because the frame rate is low, it's because the frame rate is inconsistent. If they would just lock it to 30, I think it would be all right. So I want to see this patch, which this patch should be out before launch. If it's not, I'm just running my review because that is what is available at launch. So it is what it is. But I really want to see this patch, and I hope they get it out before launch day because this game is really fun. And I look forward to seeing how good it is going to look because the image quality mode looks a lot better. Like, you notice a difference as soon as you turn it on. But I can't play it because of the frame rate. So I'm hoping that the frame rate issues will be fixed on the Series X for the image quality mode. But as long as the screen tearing is fixed in the performance mode on old consoles, it'll be fine. Like, it plays great. So, but anyway, I'm enjoying Dirt 5. It's one of those games that is going to have a lot more eyes on it than, say, like a Dirt 4 would have, because it is one of the games Microsoft is touting as, hey, we're launching a brand new console with this game. So it and Yakuza and Assassin's Creed Valhalla, those are all games people are going to be looking at, come November 10th. So, but no, that's pretty much it. So let's talk about the new releases for the last week where we're still playing, old ass video game consoles. This week we have Dirt 5, Feria, My Universe School Teacher, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Complete Edition, Soldner X2 Final Prototype Definitive Edition,
.com.
Gray Skies, A War of the Worlds Story, Yestermorrow, Layer of the Clockwork God, finally making its way to consoles, I believe. I think that's already on PC, isn't it?
I thought it was already on Xbox as well.
Okay, maybe this is just it coming to PS4 then. Maybe that's
Yeah,
what
I
this
think
is.
so.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. And Paw Patrol Mighty Pups Save Adventure Bay. I'd be more interested if they were saving Cheddar Bay biscuits, but I digress. Autobahn Police Simulator 2. Switch and Shoot. Knights and Bikes making its way to Xbox. Crystal Ortha. Dark Sauce, whatever that is. Dead Dungeon. And Speed 3 Grand Prix. So I wonder if Keanu is reprising his role in that one.
Well, he was only in the first movie.
Maybe he's coming back, like Sam Neill in Jurassic Park 3.
I said that was my second favorite Jurassic Park, and people got upset with me.
People...
Defend the Lost World. 3 at least has the pterodactyls.
See, the problem is people take things way too goddamn seriously. I'm sorry.
No, I did state it like fact. So
it's not
and
fact.
I stand by it.
If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Whatever. All right, the Nintendo Switch. We've got Agatha Christie, The ABC Murders, Bakugan, Champions of Vestroia, Gunslugs, Hunting Simulator 2, Jurassic World Evolution, the Complete Edition, LOL Surprise Remix, We Rule the World, Roa, Taurenos, Tennis World Tour 2, Pick Me Up Rescue Rangers. No, I doubt it's the, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Just 8-Bit Farm, Battle Hunters, Cafe Enchanté, Crazy BMX World, Dragon Lapis, Fantasy Tavern Sextet Volume 1 New World Days. Fuck that is. Iris and the Giant, Mad Father Remake, My Little Dog Adventure. God damn, this Switch is full of shit.
Hey, Mad Father is a beloved horror game made in RPG Maker on the PC. I don't know if it's like a full from the ground remake like Corpse Party's been, but
I'm just saying, I'm reading to My Riding Stables 2, A New Adventure.
yeah, I can't defend that one like I did Mad Father.
Outbreak, The Nightmare Chronicles, Seven Nights, Time Wanderer, Tens in all caps with an exclamation point at the end of it. What the Fork, Chess Minimal, Descenders, Elliot Quest, Memoranda, Ord, Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion passes, Red Rope Don't Fall Behind Plus, Trail Boss BMX, and Tropico 6. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. God damn. All right. Am I in the right month? There are games coming out on Saturday. Return One-Way Trip. Sorry. That's the last game. Whew. All right, let's do some news because that exhausted me. Gears 5 is getting story DLC in December. So, you want to play some more Gears?
Did that come out this year?
No.
Dang. I'm still supporting that one.
Well, it's getting upgraded for the Series X, so kind of makes sense.
Gotcha.
A bunch of games hit Game Pass, including the Tim Schafer trilogy, Day of the Tentacle, Full Throttle, Grim Fandango. So you can go play those. All the Five Nights at Freddy's games got added in there. There's lots of shit on Game Pass right now. And not to mention, Game Pass is going to be huge next week when you get your Xbox Series X. It's a bunch of free games.
What are they adding?
You want to know all the games they were announced for this week?
Just give me some top hits.
I gave you the Schaefer stuff. Deep Rock Galactic, Scourgebringer, Five Nights at Freddy's, Celeste. Carto was added. Unruly Heroes, Knights and Bikes will be on there. So.
Okay.
And then obviously at launch, we're going to be talking about, was it Tetris Effect Connected? What's the other games that are on at launch? I know there's a few.
I'm so excited for Tetris Effect Connected.
Yep.
What's the difference between it?
Multiplayer.
Got multiplayer.
Ah, gotcha.
And if you can play multiplayer, so in Tetris Effect, there's the Master mode, which is the closest thing you get to Tetris Grandmaster without owning the arcade board for Tetris Grandmaster. And honestly, the price of those is absurd, let alone having a machine to play it. And the Xbox 360 version can only be played on a Japanese 360. So it would be nice to be able to play a Grandmaster mode, basically, against another player. Legitimately.
In other Xbox news, Gears Pop is shutting down. So if you played that, you need to finish up what you're going to do.
No idea what that is.
Pop, like Funko Pops?
Yeah, Funko Pop Gears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Didn't even know that exists.
it did.
Yep. It was announced, and people went, really?
All right. Doom and Gloom Xbox news. Two studio heads, maybe not heads, but two studio executives left two Xbox franchises this week. Chris Lee stepped down from the Halo Infinite team.
Yep.
And I believe the head of Everwild's development also stepped down.
Yep.
Those are not good things.
Well, I mean, with the 343 one, it's like
343 is
yeah, it would have been hard for that to see that not happening.
Yeah. I think that game is going to change a lot before it releases in September of 2021.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
No more Craig.
Yeah, Craig will be gone. He'll be like a skull or something that you can pick up.
Yeah.
You want to know the free games?
It seems to be becoming more and more evident that that will be the last Halo game by that specific studio.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. I still hope it's good.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I mean, I like the series, so I hope any game in the series is good. Unfortunately, my hope has not been rewarded over the last several entries.
Yeah, 4 and 5 seem to be on like a downward spiral. So
4, you're like, okay, they're trying something different. Then you play 5, and you're like, okay, well.
Yeah, they tried it, and it sucks.
Yeah. Free games for the month of November. We expected them to be awesome, and on Xbox they kind of weren't. On Xbox One, you can get Origami: The Shadow Edition, which is not a hateful game, but not exactly.
Hey, do you like
something.
Tenchu? This is like
Tenchu.
Indie Tenchu.
You also get Swim Sanity, which is a couch co-op or a couch adversarial game. It's not great. Xbox, you get Full Spectrum Warrior, and on Xbox 360, you get Lego Indiana Jones.
That's
Now-
when they were still doing the pantomime thing with the Lego, so don't expect a newer-ish sort of feeling Lego game.
On the flip side, PlayStation came out and said, well, they actually came out first, and were like, check this shit out, yo. For the PlayStation 4, you get Hollow Knight, Void Heart Edition, and Middle-earth, Shadow of War.
Those are good
But-
games.
But you also get a PS5 game, motherfucker.
What? Tell me more.
You get Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks will be free at launch.
Talking about bug snacks.
Talking about Bug Snacks. Like, that is awesome.
It makes me wonder if that's not the first in a line of attempts to do that.
Well, we talked about that last week with, or did we talk about that last week, or was that announced this week, that Destruction All-Stars was delayed to February, and it will now be a PlayStation Plus game?
I don't
didn't
think
talk
we
about
did.
that.
No, you messaged me the moment you found out, Ken.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. So that game went from being like, who's going to pay $70 for it to nobody, because it's on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, and instantly went, for a lot of people that I've seen online, from a who cares about this game to, oh, give that game a shot.
Oh, I will definitely play that game. You gonna give it to me for free? I'll check it out. World of Warcraft Shadowlands will now launch in November. So there's that. What else do we got going on?
I think that's the most pre-ordered expansion of all time for World of Warcraft. I was reading something like that today.
Yeah. Microsoft has announced a Let's Play event, which will live stream on November 10th to celebrate the launch of the Xbox Series X and S. You know I'm saving the big one for last, so just relax. We'll get there. Some compatibility news came out this week. We're going to start with the VR stuff. So on PlayStation 5, if you want to use PSVR, it has to be on the PS4 version of said game. Now, this is confusing until you kind of read into it. Basically, the PSVR does not work on PS5 games. So, we'll use Hitman 3 as the example in this situation. If you want to play Hitman 3 in VR on the PS5 with PSVR, you have to be playing the PS4 version of said game.
What the hell?
Whoa. Repeat that one more time.
If you want to play Hitman 3 in VR on the PS5, you have to play the PS4 version of that game.
So,
What?
what?
This is
So you're-
the question we had about if you have Assassin's Creed Valhalla on an external drive, do you still get the X features because it's technically an Xbox One game? Like, will Hitman 3 like downgrade if you plug in the VR? Because if you buy Hitman 3 on the PS4, you automatically get the free upgrade to the PS5 version.
Right.
But if you play it in VR,
That's
does the
two
like
different installs.
yeah, so like do you have to install it twice, or does the game go like, nah, we're going to downgrade this to the PS4 version while you're playing in VR?
But your save data doesn't go over.
So are
either.
they not coming out with PS5 PSVR games?
Well, there's no PSVR that is supported by PS5 games. PSVR will not work on PS5 games.
That's what I'm saying. Are they not
Are
coming
they-
because
are they
they've got the
transferring that
adapter,
over?
right, for you to be able to hook your PSVR up to the PlayStation 5?
You can hook it up to it, but it will not. So if there's a PS5 game that releases that supports VR, okay?
Yeah.
Then no, because you'll have to buy a new headset.
That's very weird.
The
Yeah.
thing that
Okay.
gets me is that the camera for the PS5
Doesn't work for
doesn't
PSVR.
work on the PSVR.
Nope.
Which I'm going to ask the question: what big improvement does the PS5 camera have?
It's for streaming.
Fuck off. Still,
Well, speaking
my
of
point
the
still stands.
Yes, it does. Speaking of the PSVR, the website went live for if you have a PlayStation VR to get your
Yeah.
adapter.
Yeah.
So I put in my request. I got an email saying it
Same.
was, yeah. So who knows when it'll come? You know.
Yeah, but what's the point?
Because
If
you can still play the old PS4 games.
okay,
So, like, if you have Astrobot, that's how you can still play it on the
I
PS5.
have a PlayStation 4 that I can still play it on. So.
Yeah, well, we're getting to that news. Don't worry. Right,
So, this kind of upgraded over the weekend. So this started with Ubisoft putting out a press release saying, "Hey,
well, let's roll back a bit.
okay, what were you missing?"
PlayStation said everything's gonna work except these 10 games.
This is true. Again, I don't know. I've seen this stuff rebutted, Anthony, so I don't know. So Ubisoft put out we'll start there. PlayStation said 99% of games are going to work except for the 10 they put in that blog post, right?
But then there was a reset era post that's
Well, hold
probably
on, you're jumping
untrue.
ahead.
We'll
So
get to that.
the
We'll get to
10
that.
The 10 came out, and if you looked at the list, a lot of them were delisted titles, anyways, or stuff that was dead. Like it was very obtuse stuff that I'm fine with it not working.
Well, Assassin's Creed Syndicate was probably the biggest one on there, right?
No, you're still jumping ahead. I'm
Okay.
talking this original 10 list that Sony
Like the
themselves
ones that
put
had
out.
like fucking Afro Samurai on it.
Samurai 2.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like a couple weeks ago. This is a while back.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
games you didn't care about were not compatible. Now,
Right.
Ubisoft comes out and says, "Hey, bunch of these Assassin's Creed games don't work on PS5. Like they just don't straight up work." Now that post has been removed.
And they've said it was a confusion, which to my response, how do you not know?
Right. Yeah, how is there
At-
confusion at Ubisoft?
12 days before, no, less than 12 days before launch.
I can easily tell you the confusion. Sony came in and said, "You take that shit down right now."
Because they don't want people to know that they don't work. is what you're saying.
Exactly.
That seems
But
seems
then
like fucking
I have some bad
dictator
news
levels
for
of
Sony.
evil.
Well,
But if I have some bad news for Sony, it's gonna look worse
yeah,
when someone now tests it because it's been put out there.
Yeah.
It's It's going to look worse.
Tons
if-
of people
or-
testing every single
or-
game known to man on this thing.
Or they will work with Ubisoft to patch those games specifically.
Well,
That's probably what's going to end up happening.
and that's fine, but it's just one of those things where it's like
Don't
the
be
moment
shady.
those don't work even for a day, right? Mm.
Well, here's my question, and this is the thing that I sent you, Anthony. There's a giant list growing on Reddit of games that initially people thought it was that they don't work. But if you read that whole thread on Reddit, it is actually games that are going to have issues.
Yeah. Well, that's why I took. That's honestly when I read that they didn't work. This list is too long to just say that these don't work. I'm like, these are games that, like the Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, it's going to be a mess. Because like, if anybody remembers that, half of
That
those
thing
games
was
didn't-
fucked.
Yeah, play this original Xbox game. The textures won't load properly, and the physics are off now because we really didn't put a lot of effort into this.
Yeah.
It'll be like that is how I took it when you sent it to me, because I'm like, there's no way that some of these just don't work. I'm like, they
Yeah.
just probably don't work well.
Which brings us to the next point. Microsoft made it a point to put out a press release this week that says every single game that works on Xbox One works on Series X 100%.
with upgrades.
Yeah, the upgrades come from machine learning.
Yeah.
So every game gets auto HDR. Every game gets higher frame rates. Some games get even higher upgrades, like Fallout 4, going from 30 to 60 FPS. Microsoft has been doing this long enough that they've got it down. With Sony, it feels like what it was, which is a half-assed attempt to say that they have it, like a checkbox.
Yeah, like the PlayStation Mini.
Oh yeah, that was a
We
half-assed
can do that
checkbox
too.
for sure.
Can you? Can you really?
No, you can't. You fucked that up. So
But then
Next-
I see a bunch of people on Reddit saying, "Well, I'm buying a PlayStation 5 to play new games, not old games."
here's what's funny
Okay.
about that. What's funny about that, Drew, is like I understand that argument, but that argument only applies when they don't have it. As soon as Sony said it was 99% compatible, they were like, "See, backwards compatibility is awesome."
It just fits their narrative.
They
Who
just
cares?
switch hands that they're jerking off with. I mean,
My thing is, don't come out and say stuff if it's not true.
Yeah, I will be. I'm upset because Sony said it was 99% compatible, so I got rid of my PlayStation 4 Pro. If I run into an issue where I can't play a game, I'm gonna be upset because I get the whole keep your consoles thing. Man, when you get older, space is fucking, it's prime.
Yeah.
I need that space back. I'm selling my Xbox One X the day I get my Series X. Like,
I am too.
yeah, take it to the fucking store. The only reason it's not gone now is because, well, I got a shitload of stuff to play on it, especially for a review.
I got a review crap on it.
Yeah. And PlayStation, I don't have anything to review on until launch day. And in fact, I was talking to one of my PR guys, awesome dude from over at 1PR. He was like, do you want a copy of this PS4 game? I was like, don't send it to me right now because I don't have PS4. I was like, is it compatible on PS5? He said, we don't know yet. We've asked Sony, but they haven't told us. Which also told me a lot right there. Like that the PR guy for this game has no idea if this game works on the PS5.
I think that's what's ended up happening is that Sony doesn't want this to get out, and that's why they talked to Ubisoft and said, "Hey, you need to remove that." And and the Ubisoft's like, "Well, it's true," and they're like, "Okay, we'll try and fix those for you."
So I'm curious how many games are going to be fixed. Like how many games are going to have to be patched, whereas Microsoft can like focus on adding new games.
Does anybody remember the second round of PlayStation 3s that went from hardware to software emulation?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember how there's certain games that don't run properly in that?
Yep.
That it feels like that again. Although
absolutely.
Probably bigger from the sounds of it, but it's just like I feel like that they've done is like we can emulate a PS4 on a PS5 rather than just making it like partially a PS4 still. Like the best they've bet, like if you look back at the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3, when they did backwards compatibility the best, it was based on hardware, not software, which is how Xbox has been doing it forever, and their first time out was really bad on the 360, but the Xbox One has fixed those issues. And
it's not hardware based on Xbox.
That's what I said, software based.
Yeah, software based.
Yeah, so like they at least learned how to do a better software base, and it feels like every time Sony's tried to do it, it's not been great. Because even the PS1 games on PS3 don't run perfectly.
No, they don't. And that's... And I get there's a lot of people out here going, well, it don't matter. These are old games. I'm like... It does matter to a lot of people.
Well, I can tell you why it
all I'm going to
matters.
be playing on my Series X is old games.
Well, I can tell you why it matters. Because you don't want to have 400 different boxes plugged in. If you can have one box that replaces all the others, then hey, look at that. Problem solved.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
these are not small things.
Yeah, that's 100% why I'm about it. And not to mention, like, the way that Xbox has done it this generation has made going back and revisiting things, even if I only want to do it for like 20 minutes, dude. Like, if I want to go back and boot up fucking Blinks the Cat for 20 minutes, I own that game. So I can do that. And, like, it's such a huge thing that it's just fucking works. Because Ryan, you did work. Anthony, I think you worked in like video game retail.
Yeah.
Back when people would come in and ask me about buying new machines, one of the first things they asked me was, "Will it play my old shit? Will it work?"
Yep.
Like that, and I get that hardcore gamers like us, a lot of times it doesn't matter. It matters to me, it matters to Drew, it matters to all of us, but some people are more gung-ho about it. And some people are like, hey, I'm buying a PS5, I want to play PS5 games. But the majority of people in the world want to know, does my shit that I own work on it?
I think people
That's-
forget that
That's
there was
the
like
biggest thing.
wasn't there like an antitrust thing or whatever with Nintendo about the fact that the Super Nintendo didn't play Nintendo cartridges.
People were pissed.
There was like almost a lawsuit or something like that. Like they were trying to take Nintendo to court over the fact it didn't play Nintendo games, even though if you look back, the absurdity of such a thing. But like Sega used that as a selling point and said, yeah, if you buy this converter, we will literally be able to play any Master System games. Master System. Nobody had one. I did. That's it. But they sold the base adapter because they didn't want to piss off people. They were like, hey, buy the new thing and you can do all the, just replace the box you have.
It goes back to the fact that, and I think you said it, it's the word owning. I own these games. I have spent money on this stuff, and I want to have the ability to play the things that I own. If you remove that, then I own stuff that's useless.
Yeah.
I
think if it's useless if you trade your system in. Or don't want to have more than one box hooked up.
It's not and I'm not saying it's a legal matter. I'm just saying it as a good business practice would be not to piss off your player base because they own all this stuff that they spent money on that they now can't play because they're, a loyal adapter or adopter of this new system.
Sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of the things that really bothers me about this, and we're going to know in, what is it now, 10, 11 days, Sony seems to be really like stepping back everything they say. First it was, these experiences can only be had on PlayStation 5. Well, that was a fucking lie. Games are 99% compatible for PS4. That seems like that might not be true either. The PSVR stuff, it works, kinda. There's this big ass hoop you gotta jump through, but it kinda works. There's a lot of little things add up, like not being able to use the DualShock 4 to play PS5 games. I still don't know why that's not possible. There's nothing on the DualSense outside of the microphone, but Sony's already come out and said every little feature about the DualSense that is special can be turned off.
Oh, helpful. Then yeah, it's just a fucking Jesus.
So why can I not use a DualShock 4, which a lot of PlayStation users probably have fucking 3 or 4 of these things laying around?
Yep.
It's starting to feel like Sony wasn't ready.
It feels like something, for sure.
It feels like Sony wasn't ready to release this.
What's even funnier is if you've been watching the coverage of the, people got their systems a week ago. They're rolling out the coverage, but here we are 11 days in, and from what I understand, the people that have them are still not allowed to talk about noise. They're not allowed to talk about heat. They're not allowed to talk about the HDMI cable that's in the box, which has become a huge topic of conversation on the internet, which, by the way, y'all motherfuckers arguing about it, 99% of you don't have 120 hertz television, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It don't matter to you. And people that do have 120 hertz television have the money
to buy the cable.
To buy a 2.1 cable. So I don't fault Sony if they didn't put it in the box. I think it's kind of shitty because there is one in the Series Xbox. But it's probably in there. Also, stop arguing about cables, plastic boxes, and RDNA, which you don't even know what it stands for. Shut the fuck up. I've seen so much conversation about ray tracing this week. I'm like, y'all motherfuckers don't even know what it does.
Here's a weird one because we're sitting here and I'm just thinking about how weird this is that their backwards compatibility on something that yes is different but isn't I can still understand why they didn't put in PlayStation 3 backwards compatibility in a PlayStation 4.
Sure.
I never understood why they didn't allow me to download the PS2 emulator on my PS3, but
or even the PS1 emulator, because God, that thing runs on anything.
The PS1 should have been available on PS4, but I'm saying the PS3 had an emulator for PS2, so the fact that they took it out and I couldn't just download it didn't make any sense to me. I would have paid for the ability, but it's this weird idea that the PS5 isn't working off a different we're not going from the cell processing that was a pain in the ass to program for to something more simplistic that like the PS4, right? Like it's easier to program for the PS4 than it was the PS3. It's a known fact.
I mean, they're
every
the
developer
same. They're
under
the
the sun
same.
has said so.
Yeah, PS4 to PS5 is the same architecture, from
Right.
what I understand.
That's what I understand too. So it doesn't make sense to me why this is such a mess. We
I
make
think
comments
Drew's right. I think Drew's 100% right. I don't think they were ready.
No, probably not. I want to point out a moment where like a company knew that their stuff wasn't running great, so they didn't put it out there, and that's Nintendo. I have my 3DS from launch, basically around launch, and I have all the ambassador games. And if anybody remembers, you got 10 Nintendo Entertainment System games. No
I remember that.
real issue. But they gave you 10 Game Boy Advance games. And the reason why they never sold Game Boy Advance games is because those games are like kind of put on there in a way that they just barely run. Because there's a DS inside the 3DS, like it's all built kind of on top of each other. The DS had the ability to play Game Boy Advance games originally before they went to the DSi and removed the port. So it's actually booting into a DS mode to start up the Game Boy Advance games. They couldn't get them to run otherwise, but they gave them away for free as something. And then when it came to doing the Super Nintendo, they couldn't get it to run on the 3DS. That's the reason why they say only for new 3DS, and people mock them for it, but they didn't want them to run poorly on hardware that couldn't handle it. It needed that extra little bit of processing power. In fact, if you want to get a perfect 1-to-1 NES emulator on your PC, and I mean, this gets to the point where you're counting like fractions of seconds down, it takes a lot of processing power to do that, but at the same time, it has to emulate a bunch of hardware that isn't in your machine right now. That hardware is still kind of there in the PlayStation. So either admit that it can't do backwards compatibility, or make it better. Like I just don't know what would make them want to go half-assed on this. Or at least delay it. Like, oh yeah, at launch, like it won't be ready yet. Xbox One didn't come out with backwards compatibility. It's just so weird. This whole thing is so bizarre that the way they're handling it.
Yeah, I just continue to go with what Drew said. They weren't ready. They didn't. If you remember when we were having conversations about this 6 months ago, we were like, "Are they ever going to come out and say it? Are they ever going to come out and say it? Are they ever going to come out and say it?" And then like maybe a month before launch, we're like, "Yeah, we're good. We're good. It works. It totally works."
It's duct taped together, but
yeah. So
as
I'm
long
going
as
to
you don't, as long as you hold your breath and don't smell the smoke, it's fine.
I know the Internet Collective will figure out what does and does not work and how it works well, which is something that Microsoft has been doing, something that they invested resources to do. If you watch the interviews last week with the engineer at Xbox, he basically says we spent 500,000 hours testing Xbox backwards compatibility. That's fucking crazy.
I can guarantee you Sony did not do that.
No. They were like,
in fact, I would
chip
say
boots.
I'm willing to bet Sony left that up to the developers of those games to do that.
Oh, it'll be a mess at
Please
launch.
buy Control.
For sure. Fuck Control.
Can I just say that is the funniest thing that they're going to even release that on Switch?
Oh yeah, the streaming thing. That was some weird news. So you can play Control on the Switch, but it's a streaming, like, cloud-based.
Like they did with Resident Evil 7 in Japan.
Yeah. There was another game that they're doing that for, too, right?
There's been a couple in Japan.
there were two announced at that show. Hitman was the other one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Hitman 3, I believe, is going to be streamable on the Switch. So.
If you could... Can you wire into a Switch?
With a USB adapter, I believe.
Of course. Just
All
like
right, let's
Wii.
move on. We're already 2 hours into the show, and we have not... I think that's all the news. That's the big news, unless somebody has anything else. I can move over to the email that we got for the week.
Nope.
Nothing?
I got nothing.
All right. So the email we got comes from Antonio. He says, I watched Digital Foundry's breakdown of Watch Dogs Legion, and I already knew the base Xbox One was going to be a mess. But actually seeing it really makes me wonder how the hell... Fuck, I totally forgot to talk about this. CD Projekt Red delayed Cyberpunk.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I think it's just expected at this point.
He says, how the hell CD Projekt Red is going to pull off Cyberpunk on those base consoles? I'm also in the mindset it still won't be ready by December 10th, thanks to the base consoles. Anyways, we are a couple of days away from finding out if Anthony will provide us food and shelter in the Great White North, and we also have new consoles coming out in less than 2 weeks. What a great time to be alive and terrified.
Don't forget you can't go outside because of a pandemic.
It's true. We can't even leave. We can't even get across the border.
Yeah, you can't get across the border right now. Come on.
No, we can't leave.
Even if I wanted to help. Keyword if.
It hurts, man. But no, the delay of Cyberpunk was not unexpected, but it still hurts. So I want to know, out of the four of us on the show, who really thinks that game's coming out in 2020?
I do.
I do.
I don't.
That
Really?
game will come out. This will be the actual date.
They've said that like multiple times.
This
I
is like the fourth delay this year.
I am 99% sure
Literally-
that this is it.
Literally the day before that tweet went live that said they were delaying.
They said they weren't delaying.
They said they weren't delaying because somebody asked them, like, please promise me you are not delaying. I'm going to book time off work. And they're like, there's no more delays. And then the next day, and the guy's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm picking January 21st, 2021.
Why January 21st? That's a very specific date.
I don't know. It's just my guess.
I
let me
would
even check
say,
if that's even like a date it could come out.
18th or 25th is the Friday. Friday before, Friday after.
No.
Oh, no,
not
sorry.
in
That's
January.
not. I'm wrong.
15th or the 22nd.
So,
January 15th or the
22nd. 22nd.
I'm also on
Sorry,
the 22nd.
looking at the wrong month.
I'm on the 22nd. 22nd of January, Cyberpunk will release, and it will release day one with the Series X/PS5 upgrades.
You think that's what they're delaying for?
No, they're delaying because they can't get the game to fucking run on the base Xbox and PS4.
Well,
So,
I think it's going to be that day.
I think so too.
I mean, it's good to hope.
I think if they were going to delay it to January, if they were going to delay it this close to launch, and they were going to eventually delay it till January, they would have just delayed it to January now.
Exactly.
But I don't think they know. Like they delayed it this close to launch already, and I have a feeling they don't know how much time it's going to take, and they could have vastly underestimated the work that has to go into it.
Yep.
But here's the answer Antonio's question. How does CD Projekt Red get this to work on the base systems? Because they're CD Projekt Red.
They got the Witcher to run on the Switch. They can get fucking...
Was that them or was that Panic Button?
That was Panic Button.
They need to call Panic Button is what they need to fucking
They need to call Panic Button and say, hey, how do you guys do this?
How did you get Doom to run on the Switch and not be complete shit?
I still ain't got Doom Eternal to run on the Switch yet.
The thing is about that, because I reviewed The Witcher on Switch. That's impressive, dude. Like, seriously. I mean, I know, like, you can look at it and say, yeah, this definitely doesn't look as good as the Xbox or something like that. But just the sheer scope of that game running on the Switch in your hands, that's impressive.
It is. I'm not going to lie. It's impressive.
Like, there's only 2 developers out there that I think you give them an impossible mission and they get it done. It may take time. And that's CD Projekt Red and Blizzard. Those 2 right there can make anything work if you give them enough time.
All right. We're going to the Twitter. And I have to read this. I was told not to read this tweet before the show, so now I'm going to read it. I have not read this yet. It comes from Christine. She says, Ken, read this as written. It's in quotes. This is not me saying it, whatever it is. I love the Browns, and I hope they beat the Raiders today. Here we go, Brownies. That game is on behind me right now, and I've been like when you see me not answer for a second, it's because I've turned around and I'm looking at the TV, which is now
Tie ball
currently.
game right now.
It's a type, but here's the crazy part about this, Ryan. It's a defensive struggle between the Browns and the Raiders, two teams that have two of the worst defenses on the planet.
Yeah, tell me about it. I've got Josh Jacobs on my fantasy team, and he is on the struggle bus today.
He is, man. I'm like watching this game. I'm like, I expected this game to be like 28-23 by now, and here it is 3-3 with 4 minutes left in the half. How? Both of these teams suck on defense. How can these offenses not score? Oh,
Sounds like the offenses are sucking too.
Clearly they are. I'm sitting here looking at this game, and I'm like, these are teams that are scoring 20-plus points a game, and here we are 3-3 before halftime.
Oh yeah. By the way, don't forget to look at the Discord. There's been questions.
Okay, I'll get to him.
Okay.
The next tweet comes from Ethan. He says, "What do y'all think about Sony trying to buy Crunchyroll? It's not gaming, but I think it makes them less likely to buy a game dev like Bluepoint."
I could see them buying Blue Point still. If they don't already, I thought they did, but
Sony tried doing this a long time ago back on the PS3. It was called Neon Alley. I actually reviewed it for the website. It was like a anime channel that, like, you couldn't just, it's not like Netflix where you can choose what you want to watch. You had to like tune in at certain times. It was an interesting concept, and I think it only lasted like 8 or 9 months.
remember they had their own like TV service thing that they also Powers or whatever it was called.
Yep, I do.
That disappeared. I'd like to note that they, as much as we've talked about it before, like PlayStation Now is built off of the remnants of 2 streaming video game services and OnLive. They bought both of those companies and basically did nothing with them for years. So it's one of those.
I have the most important question though. If Sony buys Crunchyroll, is there a Crunchyroll app on the Xbox One?
Oh,
Probably not.
probably not.
We need 37 news stories about this tomorrow. Get on it, game journalists. What's your problem?
Are they going to also remove it from all smart TVs? Because
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes, because it's
Unless
exclusive.
it's a Sony.
It's exclusive. Exclusive.
Right now, Apple is trying to build their own search engine so they can get rid of Google. on
Okay,
their
I
phones.
want to take this moment to tell everybody who has not seen it yet, go to Netflix today, tomorrow, sometime soon, and watch this documentary called The Social Dilemma.
I've seen it.
You will not pick your phone up for a week.
The only reason why I have not deleted Facebook at this point is because my wife still posts pictures.
My wife.
My wife still posts the pictures. And that's it.
I just say watch that documentary. I did not turn my phone. I did not unlock my phone the entire time I watched that thing. It creeped me the fuck out.
I mean, sure, they're selling your data. They're
It's not the selling
deliberately-
the data that bothers me, Drew. It's the
deliberately tailoring yourself.
like the way they have a profile for you that looks at how long you looked at a picture and stuff, and like how
Yeah.
they're targeting like fake news to you about things that interest you. And
That's why you got to throw them off.
My thing is,
Why was he on the Facebook Watcher that they watch you on other sites and stuff? Which, by the way, if you don't have that blocked, get something to block that.
yo, motherfucker, Pizzagate.
I was thinking more of like, what? You just before you leave for work or whatever, you just open up Lemon Party and leave.
Hell yeah.
Somebody wonders what the fuck you're looking at.
All right, next tweet comes from John. He says, guys, urgent question. I went to my local Taco Bell / KFC the other day, and there was a sign advertising deep fried Cajun turkey for Thanksgiving.
Yikes.
Should I try it for science?
Yes.
I've never had any deep fried turkey, so it might not be the best place to start, but I'm willing to try.
Deep fried turkey is amazing. You
It
should
But
try
from
it.
Taco Bell, though?
Oh,
Taco
I didn't
Bell
hear that
No,
part.
Taco Bell KFC.
It's KFC.
It's KFC.
I got you.
Oh, yeah, I would
Gotcha.
try it from KFC.
Yeah. Honestly, as much as KFC, you're like maybe gonna get a rat. I'm kidding. Only in certain areas of the world. They are the person that I would trust to deep fry a bird. It's kind of their thing.
You got a
The
bird over there?
That's one of my favorite things he said today. Is like I would trust them to deep fry a bird.
The way you said that reminded me. I don't know if any of you guys watch Friends, but there's one point where somebody says something about I don't know, bird, somebody eating bird, and Joey acts incredibly surprised, and he's like, "Yeah, like people are gonna eat bird, like you're just gonna deep fry a bird. What, like maybe you just get a leg or a wing? Oh,
Yeah, that's how that works, Joe. Chad wants to know Pop-Tarts versus toaster strudels.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Let me
Toaster
finish the
strudels.
goddamn question. Is there a world where both can exist in harmony?
Yes.
it's this
Sure.
one.
That's the one we live in, but I prefer
It is
Pop-Tarts.
the one we live in where most people are
It's
wrong
a
about
world
toaster
I
strudels.
know. It's
Oh,
a
I don't like
world
either of
I
them.
know.
Let's make it clear. I just like a Pop-Tart I can bring with me and just eat. A toaster
No
strudel
way.
has to be cooked.
Toaster strudels are so much better.
But
So
toaster
much
strudels
No,
have to be
Pop-Tarts,
toasted.
Pop-Tarts are the best.
No way.
Yep, Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
No way. Y'all are crazy.
I don't.
There is no way if I sat you down and said, okay, it's time for breakfast. You can either have an ooey gooey toaster strudel with delicious frosting on top of it, or you can have this fucking piece of cardboard with what might be fruit filling inside.
I take the Pop-Tart.
Okay.
Y'all are crazy.
My answer is if I'm sitting down, sure, the strudel. If I'm going anywhere, I can just bring the Pop-Tart with me. I don't have to cook it.
Exactly.
Motherfucker, I buy
There's too much
Pop-Tarts.
work in toaster strudels.
I just buy Pop-Tarts and just fucking eat them out of the box.
That's
are
what
you
I
even
do.
talking
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
even have to heat them up.
Y'all.
Wild
The
berry,
best.
baby.
If you eat a toaster strudel uncooked, you're a monster.
Why would somebody eat a toaster strudel uncooked?
I don't know. I'm just saying
Why
you
is
can't.
the
You can
why
do
is
that
the
with
default
Pop-Tarts.
position of this food to eat it uncooked?
Because it's
The
the versatility
question
of the
should be-
Pop-Tart.
The
People
question
eat
should
weird
be,
shit.
in its ideal state, which is better?
Still a Pop-Tart.
Not some struggle ass state where it's like, oh, I can't eat breakfast, so I gotta take it with me in the
Well,
car.
okay, hold
Well,
on. You
sure,
can't eat-
yeah. If you're
I
gonna take
can't
a
eat-
toaster strudel with
hold
you
on,
in the
if you're
car and
eating
have
a
it be frozen,
If
then
you're
no.
eating a toaster strudel, if you're eating a toaster strudel, you're not making breakfast. Like you're already in that poverty state. Can't even.
Yeah, but at least
you can't even
at
be
least
like, well, hold on.
like no. I'm just saying, like you got to compare stuff in the way they're meant to be eaten. And like, yeah, sure, maybe default status of a Pop-Tart is struggle food on the way out the door, but
But I mean, like,
toaster strudel is much better.
toaster strudel's just one step above, and like I have a little bit of time.
Exactly, you just
in my
admitted it's
struggle
one
food-
step above.
It's still a step below cereal, where you have to pour the milk and sit there and eat it. Like,
Y'all are disappointing.
Wrong.
Disappointing and churlish.
Wrong.
it's the perfectly inconvenient mix of time and preparation. I don't have a
Yeah.
lot of time, but I need to prepare this still. Toaster strudel.
Y'all are the people that are like, oh yeah, plain Cheerios are so much better than
Honey
actual
Apple
made
cinnamon?
waffles, because in the event I'm in a hurry, I can just grab a handful of Cheerios. Like, come on, give me a break, man.
We've made this. We have this waffle iron. No, yours is the equivalent of Eggo waffles.
Sure.
You
And
can't
then
say
y'all
freshly
are like,
waffles. This
no,
is totally different.
Cheerios are better than Eggo waffles because if my kid needs something to pee at in the toilet when I'm toilet training him, I can throw some Cheerios in there to use as a target. So clearly that makes Cheerios better than Eggo
Okay,
waffles.
first off, that was oddly specific.
Oh, that's 100% one of the uses of Cheerios.
And you've done that before?
I have not, but I know people who have.
Okay.
For sure, look it up. I'm telling you. Look up Cheerios toilet training.
Couldn't we like, try something that's in the bathroom?
Listen, just because, Drew, you can't hit the toilet, doesn't mean that you can criticize other folks.
No, I pull my pants all the way down and spin while I'm doing
it. Drew, one of those people standing at the urinal with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah.
Eating a Pop-Tart.
Eating a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, but man, this is the most versatile breakfast
grab
item.
on the way out the door.
You want somebody?
Oh, this extra 5 minutes of sleep is so much more important than the ability to actually cook my food.
One of my favorite things, the Ask Reddit was men who skip two or jump 2 steps at a time while climbing stairs. What do you do with all that time you saved?
Well, I could ask you the same way about y'all eating struggle Pop-Tarts on the way out the door without cooking them first.
First off,
It takes, 45 seconds to cook a Pop-Tart? Y'all the same people that eat, like, hot dogs without cooking them because you say they're pre-cooked.
Well, they are pre-cooked.
Yeah, you eat them raw out of the bag?
I mean, why not? It's not like
I'm
I'm
just
gonna
saying, if I'm
Jordan
gonna
thing.
sit down to prepare food, why the fuck would I pick
You
a
ain't gotta
toaster
sit
strudel?
down to prepare a Pop-Tart. It takes 45 seconds.
You got to
If I-
sit down to prepare a toaster strudel, though.
You don't have to sit down.
Yeah,
Where's
you
your
do. You gotta-
toaster at?
You got to squeeze the freaking icing on it, and it never works right, and it always looks like crap.
In what world do you have to sit down to squeeze the icing on?
All
So I
right,
don't
so
see
you
myself
pop.
driving down the road while doing it.
You shouldn't be driving down the road eating a Pop-Tart either.
No, he has one of those, like, you know, the things that like hold the harmonica next to your face. He puts the Pop-Tart in that.
I just realized I've been on mute and I need to move on to the next question. I've been yelling at you guys for like 3 minutes, like, let me ask the next question.
Well, there you go, Ken. Also, we have a nice LA Times article on Cheerios and other potty training tricks.
See? Told
So-
y'all.
Great, we're just doing a Pavlovian response for your kid to piss when he sees Cheerios.
I don't know, that might be super fucking entertaining at least once. Alright, Chad also wants to know, what are your pipe dreams for next-gen load times? What about retrofitting animations in old games to replace load screens? Could Geralt enter a portal when the fast traveling? Could the hunter's corpse be pulled underground in Bloodborne and pop back up at a checkpoint?
Yeah, that would be pretty good. So, my ideal loading screen is I don't mind the initial load, but when I die, I don't want to sit there for 20 to 30 seconds.
From what I've seen of the leaked videos of the PS5, which dude got. By the way, Sony, good job sending it to the dude that broke embargo and not to me. I never break embargoes. Anyway, there's a leaked video of Spider-Man running on the PS5, and that shit loads fast.
Yep, it also looks amazing. Especially that new Enter the Spider-Verse skin. Looks sweet.
Yeah, like literally the dude boots the game up from a cold state, goes to the title screen, loads his game, and there's not even a time for it to give you a tip on the loading screen. Like, that's how fast it is. And I'm just like,
I am so ready for that.
But where will I learn to play the game?
You get to play the fucking game.
They need to start putting instruction manuals back
Good,
in.
yeah, good tip. Don't die. Thanks, tip.
You can't get an
Thanks a lot.
instruction manual on a digital game unless you're going to read it on a PDF.
I'll never be able to eat the toaster strudel.
Fucking
Between
toaster
the loading screen.
Stop with this shit.
I guess I have to resort to Pop-Tarts.
Oh, y'all are cracking me the fuck up. All right.
I can't believe that question was like the Dropping the A-bomb on the show here.
Yeah. His next tweet kind of continues on this. Could SSD load times allow for more continuous single camera transitions like in God of War? Could we see a more robust Nemesis type systems like Shadow of War and Legion? Could we see more sustained permanent world states based on character actions like in Crackdown? Yes, yes, and yes. This is why the NVMe drives in these new consoles are the most impressive thing about them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just wish they were a lot bigger.
Yeah, well, then the consoles would have been a lot more expensive too.
$1,000 there, boss.
Well, they're going to be $1,000 because y'all ain't going to live with 600 gigabytes of space for very long.
I think you underestimate me.
I think you underestimate my stubborn frugality.
Yeah. Hey, listen, y'all the ones eating Pop-Tarts straight out the box on your way to...
If you ate more Pop-Tarts, you might be able to afford an NVMe drive.
That's true.
Fancy ass toaster.
Oh, God, I love this shit. It's cracking me up. Oh, God damn. All right, Drew, you said there were questions in the other thing. It looks like Silfo says it seems Sony are removing a lot of features from the website and the PlayStation app. PlayStation app added a bunch of stuff, so I'm not sure about that one. I imagine there will also be features on PS4 that are missing on PS5. How much of this do you reckon is money-grabbing tactics, and how much is just a failure to get it all working on a new platform? Does the same apply to Microsoft? I'm swaying towards missing deadlines and lower priorities rather than cash grabs, but I'm curious to know what others think.
I think part of this is it's an issue that every tech company has, and it's the constant need to feel innovative. Blah, blah, blah. Innovative. You see it with Apple. If you have Facebook still, or Twitter, or any of the, like, you'll see changes and there'll be a feature removed. Apple iTunes, I used an iPod, the same iPod, for close to a decade, and I stopped using it entirely because they just kept removing features from iTunes on the PC. And it's this, but every time it comes with a new coat of paint, so it looks newer, but it's removed all these features because the goal isn't to be user-friendly, it's to look better. Rarely do you see a user interface upgrade that makes everything work better. Like, even the Xbox app just got worse.
The new Xbox app is fucking terrible.
But it looks newer.
It looks great and it runs great, but it's missing everything I use that app for.
Yeah.
And I don't hate the PlayStation app. Actually better than the website does.
Oh, the website's fucking terrible. There's
Yeah.
not any fucking screenshots on the website.
But it's like this. The whole goal of it is to look new. They are clearly trying to tie it in with their new console, which is
Sure.
when iTunes gets its big updates. Is when the new iPhone comes out and stuff. But it's like Google just changed all the icons. If you have an Android phone that just got a recent update, all the Google icons look different now. They look like shit. But it looks new. So they've made a change, even if there's no change at all, and if there is, it might not even be a good change. They've made a change. That's all that they need. All that it's trying to do.
It's
just look new.
You're right, and I think about PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Do you know which one I'm more excited to play with on day one? PS5. You know why? Because it's got a new UI. It may be dog shit, but it's new. It's shiny. It's fancy. Whereas the Series X, I'm gonna boot it up and be like, this is just my Xbox One X.
Yep.
And logically, in your brain, it makes more sense to keep the same UI because people are used to it.
But it doesn't hit that feeling of.
But it doesn't release that dopamine effect of, like, you know, ooh, look at this. This is new. This is shiny. This is, you know, something you've never seen before, kind of shit.
Yeah, it's like what is it? It's a lot like the syndrome of, you buy something for $50, but you can go to another store 5 minutes down the line and it's $10 cheaper. But if you buy something that's $5,000 and it's $10 cheaper somewhere else, you just get it at the store and pay the full amount. It's like it makes no sense that we do that, but we do that.
Well,
I don't-
that's also that's a time thing. Like, is the money that I'm
possibly,
saving worth my time?
Well, true, but I don't know. It's
Like, that's
it's-
a bit different. I understand your point, but it's
your,
like
your brain plays tricks on you, basically.
It's
It's
why
the-
it's why games are priced $59.99 and not $60.
yeah. So it seems cheaper, even though it's not.
Yeah, it's not $60 because it's $59.99. The 5 is the first number you see, so your brain goes, well, that's cheaper than $60.
Exactly.
So it's I've not to plug the social dilemma again, but I remember the guy making the comment in there, and I didn't even think about this, but this is true. They went through like 60,000 iterations of text and font size and color to get the one that makes your brain stay on that screen longer. 60,000 combinations.
Well, I may have talked about this before, but like I had when I worked in retail, like for like department store stuff, the way the mannequins face is like you don't even realize it when you're a shopper. But the mannequins generally face the way you would be walking along the racetrack, which is the flooring outline.
Yeah.
The mannequins in store windows face a specific way because they expect you to walk on a specific side because of just societal norms. But in an airport, they'll do the smart thing of having, like, when you're walking and because we have our right side to the wall generally, right? Like we drive, right? The left side is in the center. If you are exiting a plane, gift shops will be on the right-hand side because it's what's it called? Like sort of on the spot sort of purchases.
Yeah.
But food you will cross traffic for. It's like there's people that just study human behavior to take advantage of it.
That's why all the good shit is at eye level in a grocery store.
I studied that in college. That was my degree.
I don't know if they can do it anymore, but at one point in time, like there was a specific reason why all your cartoon characters on cereal boxes look down. Not just because the bull is there, kids are there.
It's crazy,
Like-
right? When you like dissect this shit, kind of freaks you out.
Marketing is 90% brainwashing.
Manipulation.
That's something that Watch Dogs talks about too.
I
which
mean,
is
it's
fun 'cause
everywhere.
It's still a product.
It's absolutely everywhere. Every user interface that you enjoy, somebody sat in a room for weeks tweaking a font size.
Even if you can't believe it, because I sure as fuck couldn't when I used the PlayStation Store on my browser.
I don't think
Someone
they
spent weeks on this
focus
too.
tested that shit.
Yeah, fucking hell.
All right. Jeremy says, I think I finally set it on a PS5. If all the Bethesda games stay on Xbox, then I'll just buy a Series S down the road. Just a few days away for next gen. It's been great listening to you guys through the generations. Thank you.
Well, thank
And
you.
that's a smart way to handle it. I mean, it's not like, and I know some people might get upset, but like it's not like Bethesda games are ever the graphical powerhouse, right? Like that's not the reason why you play Bethesda games. So, I mean, that might change. That it could always change, but like you don't play. I never played Fallout 3, 4, New
Visual
Vegas.
fidelity.
Yeah, like it was just never the reason why. It was all the stuff that happened in those games. Like Skyrim is still not the prettiest game, but it still sells well because it's fun. Even if it's not my favorite game in that series, it's still fun. Like Oblivion looks like trash now, but like I still enjoy going back into Oblivion and playing around in it.
Yep. All right. That is all the questions. That is all the games. Holy shit, it's an exciting time. I hope we are all in a good mood next week because we will be literally recording and putting the show out a day before the Xbox Series X and S launch and 3 days before the PlayStation 5 is dropped. We should all be excited, and I hope we can be excited.
I am.
Well, I mean, after the events of Tuesday, can we still be excited next Sunday? That's my fear, Drew.
I'll be excited not to see any more political ads ever.
I'll be excited to
Ah,
So
this
maybe
year.
when I die,
you think they're gonna end?
They'll end for the year.
Mm-hmm. Sure they will.
But anyway, I don't want to get into that conversation. I want to say that it's an exciting time to be a gamer. There's a lot of good games coming out, regardless of what you play on.
Whether you
Um,
love Pop-Tarts or toaster strudels, Xbox or PlayStation, which is clearly the toaster strudel. The toaster strudel backwards compatibility, the PlayStation.
Wow.
If you want to follow us on Twitter, we're at N4G Podcast. If you want to follow us individually, Drew, is it Drew Leachman? Ryan, is it? Oh, fuck, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking about toaster strudels.
Well, that's right. Because they were so delicious in your mind, you thought,
No.
Ryan needs to
flaky
change
delicious.
change his Twitter handle to Toaster Strudel RP.
You should.
Well, listen. If I could get paid for it, I could. But don't do shit for free.
Wombat RP on the Twitter. If you want to follow me, it's at ZTGD, and our site is at ZTGD Content. Follow us on the social media. We're everywhere. This show is on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, all your favorite podcast services. You can subscribe to us and smash that like button. I don't really care if you hit it. Just watch it. That's fine.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't comment. Don't.
Also, don't be like Drew. Actually, put your hot dogs in the microwave or something before you eat them.
Oh god, yeah, don't eat a raw hot dog. That's
Okay,
just
first
wrong.
off, I don't eat raw hot dogs.
Yeah, sure you don't.
You said you did?
I have before, yes.
You said you
Oh,
can.
Drew.
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on.
that's still wrong.
My father used to do it.
My
You
brother
seem like
still
a Vienna
does it.
sausage guy to me.
I most certainly am a Vienna sausage man.
You still eat
You
them?
just seem like, in general, like a potted meat type.
I know. Okay, first off, I do not touch potted meat. I will eat Vienna sausages.
You still eat them?
I haven't had them in probably about a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Man,
He's a
I
spam man.
used to eat Vienna sausages at my grandmother's house before I knew what they were and before my body had discovered its own taste buds.
Yeah, I haven't had a Vienna sausage in over a decade because they're. Ooh.
I
I
can't
don't.
imagine eating a Vienna sausage in the year of our Lord 2020.
I have a lead stomach. I can pretty much eat anything.
He's a
Drew, give it a
Hereford
few years.
corned beef man.
No. I do occasionally. I do fry up some spam.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That was
He
a
likes his
staple in
meat
my
in cans,
household.
everybody.
Fried spam is better than unfried spam. I will say
True.
that.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat spam out of a can. Hell no.
You
No.
just open it up and get you a spoon.
No.
Why not? Why not, Drew? You can open it up on the way out your door, and
I
while you're
most
driving
certainly
in the
can.
car, just spoon out spam.
I do have standards.
You seem
I
like
mean-
you seem like you'd be like a can of Vienna sausages in the cup holder kind of guy.
I'm not going to lie. If I haven't done that before,
At work, no less.
sometimes, yeah.
Okay. Why is the patrol car smell like Vienna sausage?
Man,
because
the smell, I can smell them right now as you're talking about them.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
There's a little bit of liquid and I spilled it on the seat.
I know
can
there's
eat-
other people that eat those that's listening to the show, so I need somebody to go ahead and chime in.
you can send your Vienna sausage emails to podcasts at ztgd.com. You can. My
Just
stomach
sitting
just turned a little just thinking about
just
Vienna
sitting-
sausages.
He's just sitting there with Vienna sausage, dipping it into spam.
You put ketchup on your Vienna sausage?
I don't put anything on mine.
Okay.
I just get a fork, open up the can, and start eating them.
Start gobbling.
God, the
gobbling
texture
sausage.
of Vienna sausage, like I can feel the texture in my
It's like
mouth.
a hot dog.
When you take a bite
No,
out of
it's
it,
not
it's
like a
got
hot dog.
It's
Yes,
like
it
eating
is.
fucking Play-Doh or something. Ugh.
Oh my god.
Ugh. All right, we need to stop this talk. I'm about to eat dinner, and I don't want.
I just think you Thanksgiving at Drew's
Oh.
house.
Ew, that is so disgusting.
You know why I say I haven't ate any of this stuff in years? Because I'm married now.
And your wife won't let you eat Vienna sausages?
I can't eat like a hobo anymore.
The first day, Drew's like, hey, I don't really feel like doing anything for dinner. We can just eat some Vienna sausages. And like, she's drawing up divorce papers as he's talking.
So my wife will not eat Spam. But I have
You-
fried up Spam, and it's like, okay, well, this is my dinner. You can eat whatever you want.
You married a smart woman, I'll tell you that. Let's
Yeah.
eat that fucking shit. The first grocery trip, Drew's like, I put 12 cans of Vienna sausage on the
I used to do that. I used to take them to work.
Oh, fucking shit, man.
I say all this as a 40-year-old man that still eats ramen noodles out of the package. So
You don't boil them?
no, of course I do. Of course I do. I mean, when I say that, I mean not like fancy ramen noodles.
Can't eat it like that. You got to boil it first.
You just
If
pull
you've
that
never-
square thing out, stick it on 2 slices of white bread. Here we go.
Dude, I've done that. Just like peel open the package and just take a bite out of like raw noodles.
You don't sprinkle the fucking powder on them first? Like,
I mean, that's if I crunch them up. But if I'm just like in the mood of like I just need something in my stomach now, yeah, I'll just take a bite.
I'm gonna sprinkle some crack on this. Anyway, that's the motherfucking show. We'll see you next week. Hopefully the world's still here. Goodbye.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. Zero tolerance.
This is gonna be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
I always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.